pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will open with the Granite County Board of Health. We'll have Chairman, please, if you want to host this.
That's you, Ashley.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. So what are we doing? Are we making a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting or call to order?
So just go ahead, Ashley, and follow the agenda if you'd like as chairman.
Okay. Sorry. I'm having trouble hearing you guys. There's like a lot of background noise. So we'll do a call to order. And then somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Okay, the motion was Scott
I'll second it.
and Chuck seconded it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Minutes from the last meeting have been approved. The next agenda item was the Granite County Sanitarian Report with Chad Lane.
Yes.
So yeah, so last quarter anyway, we're still obviously still doing septic stuff, even as mild as this winter and spring were, and lots of food stuff. Mark's still in the process right now of reviewing a food plan for somebody whose daughter wanted to do food downtown here. So we're working through that process with them. She wants to do hot dogs. So it's pretty simple, pretty basic, but we're trying to figure out the best way to approach that because it's a little different than most of our local food units. But we like seeing people, especially kids, being industrious. So it's pretty cool. There's a business owner whose daughter wants to do this. So yeah, so we think it's a pretty neat thing. So we're working through that with her. We did go to the Confluence Conference in Missoula April 1st through 3rd. That's a joint conference with the sanitarians and with public health personnel in the state. And so we got to hang out a little bit and got to hang out with Jackie a little bit outside, sort of outside of work. But yeah, that was a good conference. Really good information, good, updates. We had updates from DEQ, updates from Public Health and Human Services, and then some other training. So it's good. We're kind of up to speed and know what's going on here. So. And so besides those just kind of general skim over regular business things, there is something that we've been working on for a while, and it's a trailer house down on Drummond Frontage Road. And it was a trailer house at one time, and it's pretty much degraded into a pile of a heap of trash now. And it's been like that for a while. Seems like now Blaine and I have chatted a little bit about it. I sent him some of the information on it. And at this point, there's no excuse for them to not be able to go and clean it up and get it finally done and taken care of. The conditions are good. Winter, we may get some squalls, but winter's not coming back. And so I think at this point, Blaine and I'll sit down and figure out the legal wording and give them a hard time frame on a period of time to get this cleaned up. And if they don't do it within that period of time, then we may have the health officer make an order to do it, to order it cleaned up, and then give us even a little more stick to hit it with. But I think for now, if we send the owner a notification with legal ramifications, the potential of fines and whatnot in the rule, that should get their attention, but this may circle back to the Board of Health if they just ignore us or continue to ignore us. So, but this is something that, that we've been working on, and we've hit the end of the road with it. It's pretty ridiculous at this point. So this isn't the only one, unfortunately, but this is the biggest one right in our face right now. So this is something that I think we're gonna get together. Yep. So this, that address is 748 Frontage Road West, but we will CC the Board of Health when we send them their violation notice. So the board's up to date with what's going on.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody has any questions? It's, like I said, last quarter's been business as usual. It's just, things are getting even busier. I'm leaving here and meeting a guy in Drummond who's planning on building a house in the Palouse Edition down there, and then meeting Doug Grayfield who's planning on building another house too. So things are still rolling, still going full bore on the development side. So, which I think is good. It's all right. We're handling it.
Like building in, what do they call it, the floodplain, did that change again?
No,
They were asking me and I gave you.
yeah, no, I know that Granite County has, most of the state, I think, are readdressing those floodplain maps. So they're updating those. So some of the things are changing but that's the actual map. You still, like the septic stuff, you still need to be 100 feet away from the 100-year floodplain. You can do construction in a floodplain. There are certain construction standards that you need to follow, and that's Linda's ball of wax there. But building in a floodplain is not very smart because you eventually have to get house insurance. And if you've built in a floodplain, then it's not going to be very fun paying for insurance in a floodplain. But the floodplain stuff right now is sort of in a little bit of a degree of flux because they are updating a bunch of that stuff. Yeah, and I think it's good because they do this periodically, and it actually more accurately reflects the real world. You know, instead of these floodplain maps that we have that maybe were done in 1950 or God knows when. That they have more information that's more valid. So I think as they update those, then, we'll just keep following the latest information, which makes the most sense. So.
FEMA sent some maps, didn't they, recently? That
Yeah, they're over there.
okay. Stack of them.
I told them we had a bunch of maps up.
Yeah.
They should look before they get too involved.
Yeah, and talk to Linda.
Yeah, Linda is
Linda
the
Okay.
chats,
Yeah.
so.
perfect. Yeah, Linda is the county floodplain coordinator. So she would be the authority at the county level.
If they said they called. So you better make sure first.
Yeah.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah. Ask a lot of questions before you start spending money. It's a good idea.
Okay, were there any comments about staff's report? Okay. What was that?
Oh, you kind of went in and then came out. You're
Okay. Okay, Lauren couldn't be with us today. I think she had a dental procedure done. So Billy sent me her report. So I will read Lauren's report for you. This is, let's see, Granite County Board of Health, please accept the written report in my absence from this morning's meeting. Tobacco prevention report. Jackie, Amanda, and Deb have been working on putting together graduation baskets for the seniors in both Drummond and Phillipsburg. The baskets will include numerous tobacco prevention materials, resources to keep healthy in their future endeavors, and possibly some emergency preparedness supplies. We are excited to send the seniors off with plenty of health and safety resources. Public health nursing report. Vaccinations have been relatively slow this last quarter, but that is to be expected this time of year. There may be an increase in May with students who are needing required vaccinations for school, meningitis B for college, and Tdap to enter 7th grade. WIC has been consistent with a few families in both Drummond and Phillipsburg enrolled. We are seeing a bit of a baby boom across the state, so we hope to ensure families know that this resource is available to them in the Tri-County area. Communicable disease has been mostly influenza and COVID. While RSV isn't reportable, there have been a few cases as well. We are starting to see an overall decline in respiratory illness as it traditionally comes to a close in May. Other public health notes: Jackie, Deb, Chad, and I attended Confluence Public Health Conference in Missoula, April 1st through the 3rd. This was a great opportunity for networking and to learn what is new in public health, both across the state and nationally. Jackie and Deb have also been working with the new daycare to connect them to resources and create relationships if or when they may experience any kind of outbreak. We have also been working to ensure a smooth transition for public health nursing services on July 1st. Please let me know if this requires further discussion before the end of the fiscal year, or if you have any questions pertaining to this report. Thank you, Lauren Bolton. Any questions? Not that I know I can answer them, but okay. And then next is Granite County report with Jackie Bolster.
So yeah, the FEP deliverable has been submitted again for this quarter. We got the new task order that was sent yesterday for your guys' review. I think Billy will have it on next week
agenda.
possibly. It is a bit lower than it was this year, so it's $27,325 for the fiscal year 24-25. I did bring some stuff from Confluence, and I went to a dementia journey class last week too, and I just brought in the cannabis and the youth impact brief. And so I'll just hand these to you guys and you can read them at your leisure. There was a study done at Missoula County Health Department about there's 59 dispensaries in Missoula County, and like 10% of them are carding our youngsters. And you know, there's always that fear our kids from Granite County are gonna go to Missoula County and start purchasing. And so I will have this stuff, also the DUI task force. I have to be gone that day, but I will also give this information to Blaine to pass on. So, that's it.
And then it would be comments from the local health officer, Dr. Khan, and Dr. Khan wasn't able to make the meeting today due to her clinic schedule. I don't think that Billy had anything that she specifically wanted to address with today's meeting.
Nope.
And with them, okay. With that, are there any other public comments, questions, concerns?
Jackie has a document that she needs the board to vote on, the specimen transport protocol document.
Okay.
So I went to the state and got a new document and critiqued it to fit our county. And I've been in conversation with Connie Ham at Granite County Medical Center and how to package up a sample if it is needed. And then the CBAT kits and the DWS water kits are down in the basement of the sheriff's office. So this just reflects if a highway patrol or one of our deputies have to go, there's a map on where the location of the lab is in Helena, and the protocol of how to package something up that would be contagious or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So I just need an approval of that because there needs to be a signatures on the back for the health officer and Ashley, you would have to sign it also.
Okay.
So I can get it to you whenever you're in town, or
Are you in town Thursday, Jackie?
I will not be.
Or
I
if you just leave it with Billy too.
Yeah, I'll do that. All right, thank you.
A question is where the health board has to make a motion on accepting the new specimen collection transport protocol. So I think you have to make a
Yeah.
motion.
I make a motion to accept the transport protocol.
Seriously.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
So moved, okay. All right, any other items that were not on the agenda or that I skipped over?
I don't think so.
Any public comments, questions?
No,
nothing here.
Then I will make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
all right,
Adjourned.
perfect. Thanks,
you.
Ashley.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ash.
Thanks.
Ashley. Okay, so that ends our
Where to go?
Board of Health. And start with our commissioner's agenda, and we're a few minutes early, so I would, if we have to, can we accept the board minutes a few minutes early, or should we better wait?
Your call.
I
You might want to wait since,
Yeah,
because you're gonna have people coming in probably at
Yeah.
10.
Mhm.
There were like 3 typos I found on that.
I found a couple this morning, but if
Oh,
there's a
you
few
probably found it.
more,
I
yeah.
think there was 3. I know there was 2. But I can't remember where they were.
I found one, I found 2 this morning.
They're probably the same one.
I'll read through it again though.
One was Cameron was talking about 100 miles.
I didn't find that. Let me go with that one.
Just like sense to me, it was 3M.
Minute. People,
You guys see the email correspondence from last night?
oh, let me add it. Then I forget.
No.
When printed?
Hmm?
What?
I just, yeah.
No, I don't think the one from Lisa.
Yeah, and I responded. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw where you responded. I'll print it out.
The one from the list.
Email from the homeowner at the lake.
Oh yeah, those are the letters for the trucking bids, if you guys wanna look through them. Would it have been a, sorry, Chuck.
stamp these before. We'll stamp. We'll make a noise in between. letters from last week. That we accepted
Trucking bid.
the low bid was
Kyle Graney for
Granny.
belly dumps and Mark T for regular dump truck.
that on the agenda for us to sign it.
Oh, not to sign them, because you've already,
Just sign them.
I've
We're
been,
gonna
yeah.
talk about 'em, about we can talk a little bit about 'em, that's what-
Okay.
Oh, for the, I don't have anything about contract hauling on the agenda. Usually you guys.
So,
Sure, the road-
the one thing, I guess while we're waiting for the next, we can just, this is kind of an informational thing. I know we discussed last year. And I think we need to be on track with that we need to be more proactive on the calling out of any special contract for hauling. We decided that, okay, there's gonna have to be with the special hauling, we're gonna haul ourselves as much as we can, right? If we do need extra, it has to come to the commission, get on the agenda with what project and advance notice, and the commission is gonna decide who to call out. Correct?
But yeah, because we're gonna go with the lower end, it's not.
Right, right,
But you
Yeah,
guys are.
right.
On that note, Blanche, when we look at this, we need to figure out the haul, if we're doing it, I mean, where we're coming out of and what pit, so we say up here, we keep it up here and then down like,
For
just
the
say,
gravel?
yeah, just like in Henderson Creek, we stay right there. I mean, when it comes out on the bids on the gravel, some of them are a little higher than the other, they're lower, but we have to definitely look to see what it would cost us to haul. You know what I'm saying?
Someone withdrew their gravel bid
But
too.
they
you
put it
see
back
that?
in.
Put it
Okay.
back
they put it back in.
Oh, did,
Hey, I called them yesterday, cause it was all messed up, just a type error.
oh, I thought it was Chris Terry.
Yeah,
Terry.
they,
Oh, I did.
yeah.
Oh.
It's in correspondence. with
Yeah,
it.
they
Okay, all right.
emailed this morning.
There was a misunderstanding where they had to have it in a certain time frame. I don't know where they got that idea, but no, I think they were the low bid and we can work with them. So they put their bid back in.
I'll just talk about that other bit of road, all that stuff. It's not hearsay.
So when it comes to that, as long as we're discussing that, Paul needs to bring to us the roads that are gonna be worked on, how much gravel they're gonna need, what area they're in, and where the gravel's coming from. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yes, and then. It's a little bit, to explain it, it's gonna take a little bit, just so everybody's on the same page.
We can just sign these then. We can just sign these. Or we have to discuss it.
So usually you guys have, in the past, you guys have just signed them, but I can put them on your agenda because those are for the trucking. We don't have anything for gravel. I won't do those till after this week.
Make sure you guys sign in today, please.
Oh, I found that M. Is it 3 million, Chuck, in the minutes? I found that M. It's 3 million acres. Is that what we would have been
Yeah, yeah.
saying? Okay, I'll spell it out.
Well, no,
Or how many
is that what he
acres?
said?
I think that's like my
I
shorthand
thought they were talking about the
abbreviation.
roads, maybe I was wrong.
Is that how many acres are in the district?
Oh, okay, okay, maybe it was 3 million.
Okay, because he says maintain, the total road budget is to maintain 3 million acres of forest roads. That, that's right, okay.
That was.
Your other one. This is the master plan. So this is, that was from a previous year, but this is from last year. So you guys were gonna do this exchange of gravel, and you decided not to, and then, but so it was in there. Mhm. And then part B is what you guys agreed to. So whatever you guys want them to do is what you would have negotiated to the price.
Barney Howland's still working on his report on the road petition roads, but they'll be coming.
Oh, Dave Harris was wondering when that was going to happen. He came in.
Yeah,
the other
it should be
day.
soon. Yeah, it should be
Yeah, I told him it was progressing.
soon. Yeah, thanks.
Could you sign in, please?
Sure.
Thank you. It's tricky last week.
A minute yet. Okay. It is 9:30. The next agenda item is the board minutes for April 9th, 2024.
I'll move to accept the minutes.
Second.
Is there any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, our next agenda item is correspondence. And there is a couple emails, and this is from Park Logging.
It's a type error. There was a type error on the first time they sent in the bid.
Yeah.
That the lady, their secretary messed up, so that's why.
So they're withdrawing their bid dated.
The first one, and then they replaced that. It was like $35 below it. It was a mistake that she was typing
$35 more.
less.
So
Less.
yeah.
So she made a mistake of
Yes.
35 less.
Yes.
And so 35 more is gonna be on the bill
Yeah,
now.
it'd be 150 for this sign. So
was that? Is this the one that came in late?
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be the last call. What- if we called them out, the last. It was just a typo on what she's doing.
That's the first one and then the second one. Okay, there was an email that came from T3 Rock Products LLC, and they rescinded their bid, and then they realized that apparently they were misinformed. So they are putting their bid back, and so the email is because their bid for gravel still stands. And this is the email thread. So their bid still stands.
Who is T3? Is that?
It's Terrio down
Terrio,
in
okay,
Henderson.
all right.
The next one is from Brittany Jones. And it's from the Bureau of Land Management. And it's informational on renewable energy rule, delivering a clean energy economy to BLM for 100% carbon-free electricity by 2035 on other properties that don't deal with Granite County. So I don't think we have to make any decision on that. It's informational. The next agenda correspondence is from Brian Ward, who's the grant technician for Gallatin County on SWRJD Board of Directors. And it's an interlocal agreement. It's sent out signatures, out of date language, and they've just changed it with new language, correct language. I don't think it's anything that has to go on the agenda.
That one is.
Yeah, that one will need on the agenda for,
It's already on the agenda
yeah, okay,
for later with.
okay, thanks.
yeah.
So
This is
that's
just,
juvenile detention services, yeah,
so this is, their language was wrong, they revamped their language, we'll discuss it on the agenda item later.
okay, sounds
Right, right.
Next week. Next week.
Next week?
next week.
Thank you. Okay, so this came from Shabu Arins, and this is Kester introduces legislation to bring back emergency services to rural communities. It's informational email from Kester's office. It's up on the web if you want to read it further. It's not anything that has to be on the agenda.
Talking about money for like ambulance services or what?
I want to give you a heads up on Granite County will be receiving 542,000 in SRS funds, secure rural funds policy.
Okay,
They're telling us what we get, so they always send this.
oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, and that's up from prior years. That's informational, it's not anything we have to. Just
They send that every year to us to show us what we get.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a letter from Lee, excuse me for pronunciation,
Tangendal,
Tangenal,
Tangendal.
homeowner on Lake Shore Drive. And it's concerning the safety issue on Lake Shore Drive. And it is something concerning our discussion about Lakeshore Drive. And wanting us to keep the maintenance up on Lakeshore Drive, if nothing else, do the plowing, snow plowing. It's on the web, if anybody wants to read it, it's in correspondence. Did you not read it before it was emailed to us?
He was the one that last week was on Zoom
Then it
and
was on the phone.
talked about, yeah, then came on the phone and talked about having an advisory group potentially.
Yes. Okay, the next one is from Republic Services and notice of contact change. And this is from Ryan Kaufman, who is the municipal manager for Montana and replacing Chad Bauer.
He's a new guy, new general manager.
Oh, okay.
He called. We need to probably put this on the agenda, Blas, because with the contract coming up and then contract may be coming for somebody else too. So we put this,
Somebody else.
But
another outfit.
Let me see this. It's just saying it's not,
I heard
it's saying he's, he's just giving us information that he's the new municipal manager for Montana for Republic Services.
Okay.
Why does this have to be on the agenda?
Because the contract coming up, I think we're gonna need to put it, not just, so we meet the guy and figure out what they're doing and that.
Yeah,
there may be others who want to compete for it, you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah. So,
He
Well,
did,
when's the contract coming up?
the contract is up in August. When he did email me that form, he did call and he would like to meet with you guys in the coming weeks to discuss some various things at some point, so.
Yes, I heard, and I just told him, send something in and we'll talk about it and
Okay.
put it on the agenda.
So it doesn't mention this, that he wants to meet
No.
with us, so he did email you,
He
so.
called and then he just emailed the contact change form and he didn't include that in his email.
we just have to start talking about it, you know, because
Right,
that contract's up and
Yeah.
there could be something.
it's up in August, so,
But they wanna get it kind of talked about before August. Is what he said. I just told him, send something in because he's a new guy. I don't know who he is. Just, we need to probably meet and sit down and see what they're bringing to the table.
all I'm saying is it doesn't say that in the letter, it
Okay,
just
I'm
says
sure
who
we
he
need to
is.
send something.
But yeah, okay, so if you want to reach out to Mr. Kaufman and get him on the agenda to discuss it within the next few weeks.
That's all I said.
I can do that.
do you want the other people that are interested too, or just meet with him first?
Yes, I think we meet because we're still in contract there,
Okay.
and then the other one will talk later or the next week or so.
Okay, so where is it that other people are interested?
Grizzly? and we-
Yeah.
Have they sent to us they're interested?
We
Yeah.
talked to them before, yes,
Yeah.
we have, and they were gonna.
The
bring
county's talked to them?
Yes. When I sat with them and talked. to
You sat with them?
Yeah.
A while ago, this is when I was chairman, yeah, so. I did.
They were in here talking?
We met, talked.
So,
Did they come in once?
Grizzly, did they?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think they've ever come in. I think if they're,
yeah,
yeah, they
I-
need to maybe
yeah.
reach out to them.
Cause they were new and they were moving and they were getting stuff together and then they were gonna bring something back. That's when we were talking to them about when they could use our sites and that, call it the Deer Lodge and stuff.
Okay, the next one is, and this item here being, this is a new manager and it is gonna be on the agenda at a later date concerning our contract with Republic.
Yeah.
Okay, the next agenda correspondence is Mayor Leeper and Mayor Reddish have scheduled a Granite County joint session for Thursday, May 30th, 2024 at 6 p.m. to be held at the Phillipsburg Town Hall. And this is from Robin White, who's the town clerk for Drummond.
May 30th,
9, yeah, at 6. giving us notice to attend the joint session with the town of Drummond and town of Phillipsburg. The next correspondence is Parks to Passes. And this is building reliance in 28 rural western Montana communities. It is through Transform Transportation Infrastructure. It's an invitation, April 23rd at the Old Prison Museum. And the agenda is community presentations, and it's an invite. And this is from Joseph Hamdi, and he's with Amazon Business, and this is an invitation. Amazon Business offers features allowing you to save time and money when shopping on Amazon. Okay. Tax exempt.
That's it?
Huh?
That's all?
That's it. That's it on correspondence. Oops, we're a little over, so we are at 9:35. Our public comment and on matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction. Is there any public comment on matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction? Okay, we have Elena. Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. Going back to correspondence on the agenda, they think you had 4 minutes designated for 30 pages of correspondence. And I got them yesterday because I request any updates on correspondence. I just checked and these aren't uploaded because I guess they're not in time. But just a clarification, page 1, the gravel bid letter from T3 Rock Property. I think it says that they rescind their bid until later time. And so just clarification on that. It's not like they kept it in. And then page 26, the letter from Mr. Lee. I can't pronounce his name, Tangedal. About, I'm sorry.
Tangedal.
Thank you, Blaine. Tangedal. Thank you.
I had to ask him how to pronounce it. Yeah, so I might be a little off too, but that's close.
My name too is kind of hard if you see it for the first time. And he talked about the maintenance, but he said that is a problem, but not so much as speed. That's what he's really concerned, that it's 25 miles per hour, but the speed limit isn't being followed. And that's what he stated his problem was, more so than the maintenance. But I can see it's difficult, 30 pages of correspondence. How can you actually read every single one of them and know, especially if you just get them the day before? Thank you.
Okay, Elena, on the T3 rescinding the gravel, I mentioned right away, there was another email saying, no, they didn't want to rescind. And that because there was an email thread between myself and them, they were misinformed, thinking that they had to have that gravel up front right now. And Granite County did not say that, so they are still wanting to be the bid. And that was And Matt, finish, that was an email that was just sent, it is not online as of yet.
Well, none of these are online as of yet, as I said. But, so that's what the confusion was. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part, that you got another one, I guess, today as to when you got this one. I don't have the date, but thank you for clarification. But again, none of them are uploaded, so you can't
Email.
see that. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other public comment?
Bless you.
Okay, being none, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is the weekly report with Road and Bridge Superintendent Paul Alt.
We're just blading roads wherever we can and, go cold patch and run the 3 blades. They'll be down Rock Creek today. Moving back into Willow Creek and one's going down. Been down East Court this morning. So, and we're just kind of moving around the valley, just keep going over and over. But wrapping up Rock Creek on the other end today as well.
Are you going up to Georgetown then after the East Fork?
Yeah. That Johnny will go down to East Fork and then to up to Georgetown. That's the plan. That's kind of what's going on.
You guys did a damn good job on that bridge.
Yeah, it turned out good.
Yeah, that go past, you guys go past the bridge and on the south bridge there, you know, they go past that bridge. Yeah, it's done, took care of, so.
Took care of
Yeah.
the bridge. What do you mean? So
They go past the whole bridge and
so there's no repairs on it then this year?
they did a really good job.
The South Main Street Bridge.
Yeah.
Drive over it, see it, yeah,
Yeah.
it's turned out, they did a really good job.
Hey, Paul, I just have a question. A couple weeks ago, I asked you for the report on what gravel you put on what roads last year, and I still have.
So I'll bring it up.
So another thing that I think I'd like to bring up is, okay, we do have our gravel bids in. We are going to award the bids on our next agenda item. What we need from you is to go and get maybe what you're going to need for each road that you're going to work on this, and bring it back to us so we know just where that gravel is going to be needed and coming from what gravel pit. Is that the question that you were worried about earlier, Scott?
Yeah, and I was, when we talked about it on the wording gravel, yeah, I was gonna bring up a comment there. So I'm bring it up now or wait till we vote,
Okay.
so. It's nothing big, it's just make a comment.
No, not the bid, it's just that we need to,
No, I said
we
it's
need to-
nothing big, I'm just saying it'll make common sense on how I think a guy needs to go at it, but can't. Till we award the gravel.
well, that's why we need a list from Paul on where he's gonna put gravel on what roads this year.
Well, the plan is we're gonna try and do it all in-house, you know, then we need to, every road that we're gonna go to, we want it. That needs to come from the closest pit, regardless, because we don't wanna be hauling from Beaver
I know,
to Drummond.
I know, that's why we need a list up front.
Right.
Where you're gonna go look at the roads that you are gonna work on, make that
Yeah.
list, tell us how many yards gravel we need, and go from there, which gravel pit we're gonna get it from, right?
So if you want that, we can award the gravel today. because
We're gonna award the gravel today.
You're wanting 5,000 up here and 5,000 in
Yes,
Lower Valley?
Yeah.
And so, okay,
So when we award it, we just wanna make sure that we know, like, say down, if we're taking it down, just say Kramer Creek, okay? This is what I was gonna bring up when we awarded it, that. Stick, okay, just say Henderson was the cheapest, and then Bob Wheeler, but why would we take it from Henderson down to Rock Creek when Bob's another post? So that's all we're bringing up. It's the same as up here, why would we take it from out there all the way down there, and ever get like Doug's there, or just,
I don't think we can do that. I mean,
no, I don't either.
we gotta go with what bid we got.
Well, why would we put bids out if we decided, well, we're not gonna get your bid because it's gonna be cheaper for us to get another bid that charges more because then we don't have to follow this.
what I suggest
They're
is
all
next year to, yeah, we could tweak the bid notice some to include that if you wanna. I think that would be, so then they're on notice that it's.
Any other road business?
yeah, so we got that pickup in the shop. Getting fixed, and it's gonna be. Their quote's 3,500, so it could be up to 4,500 probably to fix it. So, need to know if you guys wanna fix it or what you want.
Which one is that?
It's one of the road pickups out of Hall.
when they pull the cold patch machine around with, it's a Road 3, I think,
Yeah, 05, I think,
05.
So what year is it?
2005.
So that's all we do.
What's
with it.
wrong? What's wrong with it?
Yeah, what's wrong?
Oh, the front end's falling off underneath it.
So they're fixing the front end?
The front end and the motor doesn't run right, and the exhaust leaks, and multiple things are wrong.
So it's gonna cost 4,500 to fix it?
Up here, it could be that much. So it's either fix it or we need to shop for another pickup, one of the two.
I think right now we need to fix it.
Yeah. I think so too, because you can't find nothing for that much money.
You're not gonna be able to get one for 4,500.
Absolutely not.
And if you're just saying it just hauls around the,
Well, we use it every day. You know,
yeah, to haul around the, whatever that.
And then
Cold patching,
they go behind the grader and stuff, too, just, yeah, it needs.
yeah,
Anyway.
this is gonna get us more miles on it where we can save a few bucks then.
get it at least for sure.
Okay.
Hopefully another year anyway. Who knows? Might go up as soon as we get it back.
Hi Scott, do you have anything for solid waste?
I do, I got a listing from Rick, Granite Disposal, of all the people that are using the dump that have granite disposal, that he's covering, so he's covering about 6,500 pounds of people's usage, so I've got that, and with that, I can now finalize my letters to be sent out to a quarter billion of people that use it, that have granite disposal. So that's going forward. And also, in Discovery, I found some people that are using the dump, but they don't have any, they haven't purchased any units, and they don't have any dump fees on the property tax. So they're just riding for free. So I'm gonna propose, starting July 1st, that disable their dump numbers. And they'll have to either come in or get their property taxes adjusted. They're riding for free, and I don't think it's fair to the rest of the community.
How do they got dump numbers if it's not on their taxes? That doesn't make any sense.
It's there.
Well,
So
if they
they
got numbers, should be able to charge.
So should it be on their taxes or is
It
it?
should be. They have
Okay, so
property.
it needs to correct it on.
Yeah.
that, okay.
And they got number has to put the top.
That's what you're saying, right? We need to correct the,
Yeah, and I think just finish off this year and then disable them July 1st.
Shouldn't have to pay for it.
So they're gonna keep dumping the rest of the year for free, is what you're saying?
Well, I don't know what, I'm just proposing that we could go and, send them out letters and saying, this is how much you owe because you don't have any,
Yeah.
or buy a unit. We can do that, or
That's what she can do.
Yeah, just let them dump it free.
Okay,
Which is why we're changing.
so what you're saying is, they have a tax ID number.
Right.
That they're using to dump.
Correct.
But on that tax ID number, there's no dump fee, there's no solid waste fee. Is that what you're saying?
On their property taxes in the assessors, yeah, that's no difference. Because they just have land or whatever, and they'll put a trailer on it during the summer or something.
Okay.
Just,
Wait a minute, you have to have to have dump fees, you have to have a.
either purchase one,
Okay, to have a dump fee put on your property, you have to have a structure.
Yeah, so it should be pay as you go, or they buy units, yeah, that's,
So
yeah,
if they're gonna be dumping on a tax ID number that has no structure. Yeah, you'd have to
or they can come and buy a unit.
yeah, pay as you go or buy a unit,
provide.
But-
You can't wait for them to build a place then and start charging everybody else.
yeah, letter should be sent, yeah, I'd say letter should be sent.
Cause you still have.
And he knows how
contract.
much they've hauled
Yeah,
because it's on their number, so
I know how much they haul.
well, that's what,
they gotta
yeah,
be billed.
they gotta be built.
Okay, yeah, so they have to be billed, but they're hauling off a tax ID number that doesn't have a tax dump fee on it because there's no structure on it, but they're still hauling using that tax ID number, then yes. When you say they have to be billed,
The prior clerk issued cards because there's a dump fee on there, but there's no.
Just gotta go back and look and see what they're done, they get charged for it, that's why we've changed and
So what-
updated everything.
So what I'll do is I'll isolate all the people that don't have not bought units and don't have anything on their taxes and are dumping. And we'll get a list of that and then we can,
that are actually dumping, they
Right.
have to pay, yeah.
and then get dump amounts on all those. We can- I'm just saying.
Yeah,
It just,
no,
it fell into my lap and I go, oh, this is a red flag, so I want to bring it up to the commissioners.
and so the former clerk issued them dump cards,
So,
which,
yeah, it's only,
oops, big mistake, there's no dump charge on their taxes, right? So it shouldn't have been issued cards, but it should have like dump,
buy a unit. Yeah.
Buy a unit.
okay, that's simple, I think, you guys agree?
It's the same rock we've been kicking for a year.
Yeah, but it's just that somebody fell through the cracks and they're still coming for
Yeah.
free. So I'll just get that list in. Do you want me to send out letters to them or?
Yes,
And the bill,
And a bill?
we can just, yeah, this is why we're up, yeah.
well, they're using that tax ID and there's no dump charge, but they have to pay.
Right.
You can't dump free. Why should
Because we
we
got a
with structures have to pay and you with no structure? We're getting that garbage from it. We bring it.
I don't know. Okay, that's all I've got.
Okay. That it?
That's it?
Great,
Oh,
thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Hey, we're a couple minutes late. We have awarding of gravel bids opened on April 9th, 2024, discussion and decision.
I'll move to accept the bid from T-Rock.
Did we accept them from, gravel?
And I'll
Tommy?
make a motion to get, accept a bid for F and R $11 per yard for the north end, or south end.
Any public comment? Thanks, not all in favor? Aye. Okay, so our next agenda item is
Next topic.
Don't talk into it if I can't.
What's that?
Don't
Let's
talk
go,
and
Billy.
do it on camera. Don't worry.
How's it going?
How are you?
So we have the cooperative road maintenance agreement, the master agreement with the US Forest Service is the first on this agenda item. And the reason we have the master plan up is so that we could go over it and see if there was anything in this master plan that needed to be addressed. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start, if I may, with a discussion, and I'll start with you, Chuck. Do you have something
I
that?
wanna wait until everybody talks.
Okay, well, here's my thought, then. I think that this master plan is between the Forest Service and between Granite County, because we are communities adjacent to the National Forest, so we actually need to cooperate with the National Forest. In other words, I think that this master plan, we have to have an agreement with the Forest Service because we, after all, live adjacent to it. I think some of the things in it where it says Congress, and this is purpose of agreement in the second paragraph, Congress has from time to time authorized and appropriated funds for forest roads, end quote. Okay, right now we have tried working with the forest on the forest appropriations, and that's kind of in the past history we're still working on that. We don't have the money to maintain it ourselves, and so we're going through, trying to go through FLAP and hopefully go through FLAP again to try to get the necessary maintenance on the one particular road, which is, the 86, is that the road?
Correct.
Okay, so that in itself, we're gonna have to work with Congress. Hopefully, they will appropriate some funds for us where we can. But as far as that goes, that's the maintenance on the roads. That's when we would cooperate with the Forest Service because we're a community adjacent to the forest. As far as this agreement, it pretty much states that, I know, Cameron, you commented that the Forest Service only does recreational and natural resources with timber sales. They don't do residential, but on this master agreement, it says that all traffic which uses such roads. So then this goes into the identification of roads, the maintenance plans, and I think all this, reading it, it's fine. On the actual roads, are all these roads Forest Service roads right here? Or
No, I believe it's the first part are Forest Service roads, the second part is county roads. There's kind of a weird little title bar.
so the one thing
So
that I
part A
noticed,
would be county roads, sorry,
Okay.
part B would be Forest Service roads.
okay, so like
It starts on page
on,
5.
so that's where I think the master plan is fine. I think where the problem lies is in the Schedule A. I think what Granite County has tried to do from the beginning of last summer is listen to the public saying, okay, the speed, we've tried to correct the speed, we've done everything we possibly can. Then we visited with the Forest Service. They stated that we'd have to get, I mean, in the emails, that we'd have to get an engineering thing about the safety and about the speed limit. So what I'm saying on this Schedule A, and this is Schedule A on Part B, which is the part that the county does for the Forest Service, correct?
So can I clarify something real quick?
Okay,
So the Schedule A is just a list of roads that are either owned by the county or owned by the Forest
you
Service.
mean this right here,
That's the Schedule A,
in the
right?
master plan,
What you're looking at, I believe, I can't see from here, I got old eyes, but that's the maintenance plan, the annual maintenance.
the
plan.
master plan. And then the Schedule A, which is the agreement yearly with the Forest Service on what we're going to cooperate on.
Yeah, that's the annual maintenance plan. Yeah.
It's not called Schedule A, it's
Yeah.
just maintenance.
Right.
Yeah, maintenance.
Okay. But
Scott.
I want you down, not just a comments, but I just want to.
Can I-
Yeah,
okay.
go for it.
I would, okay, so what I'm saying on the maintenance plan is what I'm saying, because I think that, my opinion is that number 4, which is the system 8686, that we move it into number 5 with the winter plowing until such time as maybe Congress feels that maybe they can appropriate some funds for, to fix that road that we tried and failed in the past to fix. Okay, that's my opinion. Go ahead.
Okay, my, just coming off on this, it's not taking away from you people. I'm trying to make a point here, we need help from the Forest Service. I mean, we keep doing this, and it's kind of like they're trying to prove a point, we need your help. And we try to work with you, not just on Lake Shore, other roads, but where we don't have the money to throw out all that. And it's like when RAP, we apply for RAP, and that goes somewhere else. There's nothing on that road to work with. I mean, we can keep doing maintenance and plowing that, but every year these guys are all saying too that, you know, there's nothing there to work with until we can put gravel down to make the road meet the standards. I'm against, you know, I mean, we can keep going up and blade, and all you do is blade the same crap over and over, and it just disappears, and then next thing you have the potholes. And it's, I keep trying to say this, it's nothing about the people, it's about we have to work together, and we don't. I mean, it comes down to, what do we get out? They get the road blade, but 2 weeks later, they're back to the same thing, because there's nothing there to work with. And the other thing is that I just keep preaching on about working together, but I wrote down some notes, but that's my opinion. I mean, it's,
I think we're mixing up the road maintenance on Lakeshore Drive and Snow Pond. They're 2 separate. Okay. I think we already made a decision on Lakeshore Drive that right now we're gonna quit doing it for everything, snow plowing and maintenance. If you guys in the future wanna go back with flat, I mean, that's your prerogative, but right now, I don't think that's in the process. So, like I say, I think we gotta talk about road maintenance on Lakeshore Drive and snow plowing is separate. And if we do snow plowing up there, I was gonna wait till all these people talk, but that's gonna open a whole can of worms for the county. And it's not, we only expect $483,000, wasn't it, in taxes for road maintenance?
443.
Yeah, 443. So that's not much for doing 700 miles of road, isn't it, 700 miles?
Okay, if I may. What this is right now, forget the maintenance, that has nothing to do with, this is the master plan, or do we agree that we need to cooperate with the Forest Service and keep this master plan? Or do we say, no, we give them 30 days notice and we're not gonna work with them at all, is that what you're saying? For the master plan? This is what the
Part of the-
agenda item is, the master plan, do we agree?
For part of the master plan on the snow plowing, the way I understand it's like 8 miles of Forest Service road that we're plowing up there. Do we plow
for Forest Service roads anyplace else. I think we'll end up plowing Forest Service roads other places. And we'll probably end up plowing other private roads other places, because everybody's money is going into this. And I want to hear what everybody else in the county says, okay? It's their money too. It's their money that's going up there to snowplow. Let's hear them out. So I make a motion, I was gonna do this after.
Okay, let's hear
I make a
now.
motion that we table this and we talk about it more.
We can't keep tabling it.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, you two table it.
I'll make an
Well, I wanna listen
I
to
want to hear from the public first, so. That's all he's saying.
You have something to say? Yes, go ahead, Cameron.
Yeah, all I would say is, I kind of agree with you a little bit, Chuck, that there's lots of different moving parts with this, and they're kind of all separate. So, and I agree with you, Blanche, also. The first thing is this master agreement, the cooperative forest road agreement. Is this something that we all feel is good for everybody in the county of Granite? And if it is, then this is something that we need to continue on through 2006. It expires in May of 2006, if that's the decision. Because there's a lot of other work also that takes place. And we've worked on a lot of county roads. We have records. I don't know if you brought that off the printer this morning, but we have records of what we've done on county roads. We've put a lot of money into county roads. Now, they're not super significant county roads as far as needing to get to somebody's house or something like that, but we have done a lot of work on different county roads. Probably the most recent was the reconstruction of Upper Willow Road. That was to help us out because we were doing a timber sale on it, but we have put hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into county roads. And without this agreement, we can't even continue to do that, nor could you guys continue to do work on Forest Service roads. So this is where I agree with Blanche. This is a really important agreement that we need to maintain. Because like you said, Scott, we don't have enough money, either of us have enough money to even maintain roads, let alone do big reconstruction projects. We have to work together to get those done. And this is an avenue to get that work done. So that's one thing we need to consider. And then modifying the maintenance plan to whatever we both negotiate for all of the roads that we want to do for 2024 would be the next step. Then we get into the reconstruction. That's a totally separate issue with this. And it's going to take a big pot of money, like through FLAP. FLAP is next year. So that's something that we can't change right now. I mean, we're at the mercy of federal highways with this. And it's the only chance that we're going to get $2 or $3 million to actually to have something to work with on the roadway. But we still need this master agreement to be able to work with that in the future. So the reconstruction is one thing. Then there's the annual maintenance of it. And this is where Chuck's getting at, the plowing of, or not the plowing, because that's separate. The grading of it, maybe dust abatement or whatever, that's a separate issue. And then there's the snow removal issue. Obviously, the Forest Service can help with some of the annual maintenance of the grading. And like Scott said, you're just kind of moving the same material back and forth. We need to get some more material on it. And maybe through RAC, we might be able to get a small amount of money and strategically work on real short segments of the road. But reconstruction is flat. That's our avenue to get enough money to do something like that. So again, there's the reconstruction, there's the annual maintenance, and then there's the snow removal. And then I'll add a fourth one to it. There's the safety aspect of it too, that I know a lot of the residents are interested in. So, but I feel like they're all kind of siloed, they're individual.
Cameron, on that flap, you know, it went from 50 to 400, we only get 433. How are we gonna come up with?
Well, remember,
400,000 for flap when, I mean, that takes the whole county.
well, remember the new policy with federal highways is there's no match.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. We can't go on past. Past, we couldn't do it. Past was 40,000, then we ended up, we happened to give 50,000, so we give 50,000 and it flopped. Then 400,000, we said, no, you suggested, let's try flap, and the Forest Service suggested, let's try to do flap again. Now the flap is no match. Let's apply for flap, no match, in order to do any kind of maintenance. But what this agenda item is whether or not we agree on the master agreement with the United States Forest Service as the first part of the agenda item.
Blanche, man. speak. I agree with
Go ahead,
Cameron on the idea of the master agreement is more of an agreement to agree. And so I think that one's important to have in place and continue in place. And then when you're talking about road maintenance, that's the annual road maintenance plan. So that's what I think is the heart of the issue. So I would encourage the commission to continue on with the master agreement. If you have any modifications to propose them.
And that's, I think that's what I said. And then that isn't what I said?
I never said a damn thing. I'm listening.
I'm-
I didn't say you didn't say nothing. I'm listening to you. I'm just thinking. I'm just going
Is
off
there a
of-
motion to keep the master plan?
Well, I think we ought to do them together. Annually.
You think what?
We ought to keep them together, the annual plan. When are we gonna do that?
Well, they're completely different. There's the master plan that we agree, like Blaine said, and then we go for the maintenance plan where we can negotiate, where in the past, the Forest Service has brought that plan to us with
So
what
when-
they've stipulated.
So when does this annual plan need to be done then?
This is still in place until 2026.
So the master agreement's really already in place. So if you probably don't need even a motion on that if you're good with it going forward. But if you want change to the annual
Maintenance
agreement,
plan, yeah.
that's coming up here for a 2024 version of it.
I believe it expires also on May 1st of this year. So typically we try to rebuild the next year's or that year's plan, April, May, June if we're busy, whatever, but.
Well, and from what I understood, this was something that you guys wanted to go over the cooperative maintenance agreement, the master agreement, just to check it out. So that's why it was on the agenda, to look it over. I see nothing wrong with the master agreement. I think it's the annual road maintenance plan
That's the road maintenance agreement is the heart of the issue here, that I'd encourage you to continue forward with the master agreement.
I still wanna hear the people, what they say.
So what we'd hear from the people, it would be on this agenda item, whether or not they want us to keep the master plan or to tell the Forest Service, give them 30 days notice not to keep the master plan, because it has to be what, 30 days notice, that we tell you we're not gonna agree with the Forest Service, we're not gonna work with the Forest Service. Right?
Yeah, you could put that out to the public.
Okay, so let's start with Zoom. Anybody on Zoom? Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. I think it's very confusing because you have the cooperative road maintenance agreement, master agreement, which is 19 pages. It was signed May 11, 20. When was it signed? There's another thing that's confusing. But there's two different things. And if you're going to change something on that, it should be something separate and exactly what you're going to change and updated with dates on it when it was signed and agreed to, like today's date, but you're not going to do that yet. As far as the other one, the annual road maintenance, that is another thing that's separate. And that one that's the one that's supposed to end this spring. And it's revised annually. My question is the one that's uploaded online says signed Scott Adler. When was this signed? What meeting? And again, thank you, Blaine, for uploading all the minutes regarding discussion on this particular road. I don't see the minutes for when this thing was signed, or I don't know, it's not there.
The master,
And And also the master, when that one was signed, which I guess it was May 11th, 2021, the minutes for that aren't uploaded either about Lakeshore Drive, but Lakeshore Drive was included on that. Again, there's a distinction with the one that is the cooperative road agreement that was signed, I guess, 2020. I don't know when it was signed, actually. It's supposed to be up the spring of 2024 or effective through the spring of 2024. So it was signed in 2023. I don't know when, at what meeting, when was it discussed? And it's supposed to be revised annually. So this is going to be something separate that you're going to discuss. And again, there's handwriting on it. That's how documents get lost and things get confused. Nothing is, anyway, I brought that up several times. There's got to be a better system regarding documents, draft of documents, and motions and resolutions. But I've said that before, and I'm not going to take any more time up on it now. Thank you.
Okay, we have another Zoom from Mike Weinheimer. Excuse me if I pronounce your name wrong.
No, yes, ma'am, you got that right. So Mike Weinheimer, lot owner at Jericho Bay. One, thank you for this meeting. I know it's a contentious topic, shouldn't have to be, but from the perspective here of one, strongly in agreement of keeping the master agreement in place, like the bifurcation of the issue. Two, understanding that maintenance is an issue. Haven't been in each of these discussions, but also understand it's about an incremental 3 miles of road up there coming off of Georgetown Lake Road to where it connects. So if there's already equipment up there from the maintenance side, seems relatively incremental, knowing that you're dealing with a strict budget, understand some of those implications, but would strongly advocate for keeping the master agreement in place as we continue to negotiate the road maintenance. So thank you for your time and consideration on the matter.
Thank you, Mike. Go ahead, Chuck.
I pretty much agree with Elena, and yeah, so I'll go with the master plan to redo that. But then we got to talk about the annual plan. I think that's why these people are here, is for the annual plan.
Absolutely.
So I'll make a motion to redo the master plan.
Continue forward with the master plan.
Okay, now, public comment, and this is concerning the motion to continue with the master plan. And that is the only thing that we need public comment from. So I don't see any other Zoom, so we'll start with the first row. Is there a public comment in the first row in audience? Second row? None. Third row? None. You with the phone, are you just putting your phone up or do you have a public comment?
No, I'm just live streaming for the people that
Okay,
can't be here.
all right. And anybody else? The motion is to keep the master plan. And all in favor? Aye, motion carried and passed. So Cameron, we are keeping the master plan.
But now we have to discuss the annual
Yeah.
plan, and that's
So the next on this agenda item is the annual maintenance. Okay, that happened last year in May. I think it'll probably happen again this year in May. We are not in agreement with the maintenance on the 3.1 miles of Lakeshore Drive. So we need to work with the Forest Service concerning that. But I think we need to get the maintenance plan coming from you and we need to discuss it before we can discuss this any further. Scott, do you have a comment on that?
All right, gave my comments.
no, you know, like you said, we went out of our way to work on Lakeshore Drive. You know, we contacted the senators, we tried to get money, we tried to get rack money, we tried to get flat money, we tried to do everything, we tried to put up signs, and they got torn down, we put up speed bumps, and they got torn out, and it's not our road, so my point is on that, that's why I'm coming from not doing the maintenance anymore, and then also, it seems like it's, I'd like to see in the annual plan, something the Forest Service will do for us. You know, like maybe do Dog Pond Basin Road, blade it, every other year or something like that. But we don't get, I don't see anything.
Well-
It's us.
Actually, part A, they said what they do for us is they would dispose of the bank washout material from erosion and flooding on road number 80. That's what they said they'd do for us last year.
But that's nothing.
So I can pull our records to show from 2008 until present what we put into county roads. And again, we have documentation, there's millions of dollars that have gone into county roads. How our projects work are, I'll use Douglas Road as an example, because I think you were even in when we did that road, Scott. We got a pot of money to repair the county section. I believe the first 4 or 5 miles is county on Douglas Creek Road. So we put 150,000 or so into that road in one time. So that's kind of our projects. When we get an extra slew, a bunch of money coming in, then we'll dump it all into a county road. Then we might not do anything for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. All of a sudden we'll get a bunch more money and we'll go like we did in Upper Willow. We'll go reconstruct a road like that.
Okay.
So we don't have yearly submittals. So yeah, last year probably looks like we didn't do much, and we didn't because there was just nothing on the schedule to do. This year, we do want to work on the road. It's the 358 road from Lower Willow Creek Reservoir to the forest boundary. If you probably driven it, there's a couple really bad places on it, and we need to get fixed up, looking ahead for future timber sale with it. So that's a road that we would propose this year. So we have done some things, and I could bring that up and show you guys if you want to see the history of what we have put into some county roads. But it's not just us bringing it to you. We would bring to you our proposal of what we want to do. You guys need to bring to me what you guys want to do on a Forest Service road. So it works kind of both ways. So, and like I'm prepared right now, the 358 road is all that we want to bring to you guys to work on a county road. But what's at heart with this meeting with the folks that are sitting behind me is, yeah, we know you're gonna grade the road once before June, so that would be part of the new 2024 maintenance plan. That's your guys' contribution on a Forest Service road. But are you gonna plow snow or not? You know, those are decisions or things that we would want to document in this if you're gonna do it. And if you're not, then it just doesn't get put in there. But those are the things that we need to know, I guess, moving into 2024.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you keep bringing this stuff up, Cameron, but it's the better you if we go do this, because you keep bringing up, well, if we do a timber sale, you know, the Willow Creek, we need to fix that so you can actually haul logs. I mean, you keep saying this stuff, and then the 340, and in that Douglas one, that was to bring that timber sale out of there. And we called it, yes, we did, and you helped. I'm not saying that, but there again, it was to help and better you. I mean, you couldn't have done it without doing it. And the same as the Willow Creek, up by Lucy, all that, you know, I mean, we want the timber sale, not saying that, but when we go and do all that, what do we get out of it? What do we get from the Forest Service from the timber sale, where we used to get a lot of money?
You get PILT payments. I believe Granite County is a PILT county. So I don't know how much of that budget, but a certain amount of that money also goes for road maintenance. I don't know the breakdown. You guys may know it, or Billy might know it, but that's some of the payment that comes from timber sales. But we do put money into roads for or because of timber sales. And that's what driving is a lot of the work that we do.
It doesn't come from timber sales.
It's payment in lieu of taxes. It's Forest Service property that is Forest Service land,
Correct, yes.
and the government gives us payment in lieu of, because there's no tax base there.
Right,
Is
but
what
PILT
PILT is.
is because you either get the 25% rule or you could get PILT. Well, based on a reduction in timber harvest, the 25% gives you guys less money, PILT gives you more. So that's why you choose to get PILT. So yeah, it's not directly tied to timber sales.
Well, especially
But
because you
it's-
don't get the timber sales anymore. You know that, it's a struggle to get full any of that stuff anymore. It always gets, every time you put one up, you know, if I put 3 million up, you only get 100,000 out of it. You know that, we talked about it before.
Comment.
Go ahead, Blaine.
From my perspective, I'm not gonna tell you guys what to do, you know, what roads you're gonna maintain or not, but we had the speed bump issue there with, that didn't work at Lakeshore Drive. There was a proposal from folks who have leases up at the lake to put in a crosswalk. My proposal would be to ask the Forest Service to do a study on that safety issues on the crosswalk. I don't, and I'll defer the issues of the cost to the county commission. That's your guys' issue. But as far as looking at the safety issues, I think that should be on the Forest Service.
I agree with you, Blaine, but it's coming back. It's not just gonna be Lakeshore Road. This has opened up a can of worms, and we're gonna have to look at a lot of different stuff. You know, there's other people from other places. We gotta figure out what to do there too, like Chuck brought.
Okay, so it is 10:30. I think on this agenda item, we've agreed on the cooperative road maintenance agreement to keep it. The annual road maintenance plan, we will put on the agenda for a later date to discuss with the Forest Service what our annual road maintenance plan is. Correct?
Yeah, and I encourage you to take public comment on those issues.
For
right
the
now.
road maintenance plan?
Yeah, I think it's on the agenda, and that's what they're here
That's
to
what they're here
discuss.
Well, I thought we were gonna table the annual road maintenance plan with US Forest Service until
I-
we get the new plan.
I think it'd be important to hear what they have to say, and then that might help commission in developing.
Okay,
the
so-
ideas of the plan.
Not making a motion on the annual maintenance plan with the United States Forest Service. Is there any public comment on the annual road maintenance plan with the US Forest Service? Let's look at Zoom. Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to make a comment on the annual road maintenance plan?
Elaine.
Okay, go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. On that, yeah, I understand that it's gonna be tabled, and I think it should be. And then we should have the minutes, you said last year, in May 2023, it was signed. I'd like to see the minutes for that, if it was on the agenda, because I took a quick look for the minutes and I don't see a discussion about it for May of 2023. I think it's important because that's why people would be at the meeting if it was on the agenda and if they knew that this was a conversation. The other thing I'm going to say is we did have an advisory committee, Forest Management Advisory Committee, where discussions with the agencies like Forest Service would have taken place. And we could have came to an agreement and cooperation, and that could have been presented to the county commissioners instead of accusing somebody of not showing up and not doing anything. Again, transparency. If the public doesn't know what you're doing, if other agencies don't know what you're doing, how do you expect them to criticize or question or make any comments? And one thing that our advisory group did believe in, and Chuck knows this, coordination. And that is important for the commissioners to sit down with the Forest Service and have an intellectual conversation. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay, Dwayne, I do have Lori Hart on
Okay.
here. Would you like to make a comment first?
I was just gonna
call
say
on her?
the road maintenance agreement was on the agenda,
Yes.
so we can
Yes,
put
it was.
the-
Yeah, I think
we'll
it
put
ended up
the
being in June,
minutes
but I'll
online.
find it.
Or they're already archived, but we can
Yeah.
print
I'll
those
find 'em.
specific minutes.
And
And-
Cameron can attest to that. He was here. We discussed it. Okay, go ahead, Lori.
Lane is still on.
Unmute. Okay, sorry about that. My system was not working. Lori Hart, I am a property owner at Jericho Bay, Lot 27. Thank you for your work on these complex issues. I understand a bit of them, although I'm new to this discussion. I just wanted to raise a couple of things maybe for consideration as you kind of look at these issues further. I don't know how many homeowners are impacted by this, but I'm guessing, can you hear me okay? Blanche?
Pardon me, say that again.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm guessing maybe there's less than 1% of our county population there that may be directly impacted by this decision to maintain and plow the roads up there. A couple of considerations in addition to what Mike mentioned is that we are seeing more and more difficulty in obtaining homeowners insurance. It's a difficult, I'm in the real estate world and I understand this difficulty firsthand. If this road is not plowed, homeowners who have residences up there will potentially lose their homeowners insurance. And they will not have access to emergency services, and that's why they will lose their homeowners insurance. It's a very significant issue for, I know, a small number of us in the grand scheme of the county, who the county serves. But the other issue is, of course, financing. Banks will have trouble financing without a clear road maintenance plan. And I just ask that you consider the time. I understand this has been a very complex issue for decades, and I would ask you to consider that we would like more time to have hopefully a voice and help come to the table with some solutions that would help the county and the Forest Service, because we are so directly impacted by this decision. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lori. Is there anybody else on Zoom? Okay, so let's start with the first road. Do you have a comment on road maintenance agreement with the Forest Service in Granite County? Okay,
My question,
state your name, please.
Matt McLeod. That's fine. Could you speak on this a little bit? Could you speak on this a little bit? Sorry about that. My name is Matt McLeod. We live up on 10 Hilltop Lane. My question is, are you gonna still plow Georgetown Lake Drive?
Georgetown Lake Road.
Georgetown Lake Road.
Yeah. County roads.
Okay.
I think Denton's Point is county road, correct?
Yeah.
That's not an issue
You
here.
guys quit doing Lucky Lane.
Yeah, no, we
Hilltop Lane
maintain,
and all that stuff.
well, yeah,
I do that.
oh, yeah.
But it's just,
Yeah, the county roads are not an issue, the county roads are
so you'll still
maintained.
be plowing them, so.
Yeah, this is not an agreement. Okay, second row. Third row. Fourth row. Anyone standing? Okay, go ahead, state your name.
Travis Clark, Georgetown Lake Homeowner Station. I have is, well, one, if we don't get that plowed or not plowed, really graded too. So I was fire department, they were really supposed to get to that. You know, we have no services then on our side of the road. The other thing is I clocked turn my mileage on from the county line to the other county line. So if you start at Judge McLean's, all the way up where you stop, and you do the Piney Point, then you go back, you pick up your blade, you drive all the way up to the other side, and put your blade back down at the county line, you're driving 6 miles. So that's 12 miles up to go back and forth. All you have to do is go 6 miles with something, or 3 miles, you know, plow there or grade there and back. You're wasting money on fuel too. So what's the point of picking up your blade and going that way? I mean, if you're gonna do the two roads, hard roads, but you're not gonna do it. I mean, it'd be easier to just drop it down and go. That part don't make no sense to me.
We gotta plow both ways.
Right, it's
Yeah,
6
so you're not
miles, 3
picking your
miles
plow
there,
off
3 miles. But
Driving
when you're
out.
going down the
You're going down.
down Lake, Highway 1,
Right.
you got your blade up.
Is this a Forest Service road you're talking
Lake
about?
Shore Drive.
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
you do the tarred roads on both sides, and do Piney Point and the Dude Ranch, you're wasting fuel going from one side to the other all the time. So if you just, if we did that, you guys would save fuel on that anyhow, so you, instead of 12 miles, you're only doing.
Okay, one statement on that thing. What we were talking about is number 4 on the maintenance agreement, which is Lakeshore Drive. Number 5 is winter plowing. So that's all in the agreement. And so it's in the agreement that we maintain that we're going to be discussing, because there is winter plowing that we agreed to do. So that's where the 8 miles comes in, because there's Forest Service roads that we agreed to plow in the winter, correct?
For 2023,
Yeah,
yes.
for 23.
Yeah, that's for next year.
This is the future agreement that we
Right,
have. to
that's what I
discuss.
mean, you're gonna be doing 12
Right.
miles one way without a blade up, but you could go 6 miles with a blade down. I mean, to me, that, I
Okay.
plow for a living up there,
Okay,
so it's easier on gas, just keep on going.
Okay. that's noted. Thank you for your comment. Is there anybody else?
Oh, I just like to say, you plow for a living?
Yeah.
Why don't you plow for those people? Why don't
Well,
they pay you to?
I mean, then what service do we really have up there? And then we gotta get it graded too, and go across, you know. Yeah, you guys get our tax money too, they're saying it was 25%, and then you got a Georgetown Lake fee tax on it, mine was $70 for the thing, and you got 1,500 people, that's over $100,000. I don't know exactly the right thing, that you guys are getting from us, that we're not really, what are we getting out of it then?
Okay,
So you think other people's tax money,
No,
So the
I'm
whole
talking
county
about the
should be
ones that
plowing your
being
roads.
up at Georgetown Lake. I looked at my thing, you got $70, and it's not including the road tax. This is including just a Georgetown Lake tax you guys have on, $70 a year. I know people pay more than I do, so if we don't have that, I mean, where does that money go for?
I thought the $70 was just the road use, going into your place, or I'm misunderstanding what you're saying.
It's on my tax, so I could bring it in, and I didn't. But it just says Georgetown Lake, $70, it's something cent.
okay, we're not discussing what any. your
Right, but
taxes.
what is that money going for if you're gonna do one, it'd be cheaper to go the one way than back the other way. I do it a lot. A few years ago, when I had a big truck, I was
Okay.
doing Lakeshore Drive on weekends.
Okay,
I mean, should I figure out what days I did that and send you guys a bill for me doing it?
I
That
don't,
was like for 5 years. I did that.
To do it with Forest Service or us? No, I mean, if you're gonna say it's in.
I mean, I'm just saying, I mean,
Don't get into that.
okay, is there any other public comment on road maintenance for Lake Shore Drive?
I do, everything was asked already, but I'm going with
Can you-
what Brian said.
you need
My
to
name's
state your
Dan Dillon,
name,
Lake
please.
Shore Drive, 221. I'm just asking basically to make sure that I understand Brian's comment, because I agree with him. So if you're gonna plow 406 up and back, and then you're gonna drive around to do Georgetown Lake Road, are you going to drive Highway 1 in Deer Lodge County to come around? Which is 6 miles to get there, 5 from county line to county line. Or you can go across Lake Shore Drive and drive 3 miles with the road, with your blade down. I just want an answer that's clear, I guess, because I didn't understand it.
Paul, do you have a comment to that?
We'll go around to Highway 1.
Okay, so you
Why?
drive the 6 miles instead of, okay.
Why drive 12 instead of 6?
What's his name?
Well, if we're not maintaining that road, we'll go around it.
Thank you, I got my answer.
Okay,
I want to point out one more thing.
okay, go ahead, Chuck.
That, you might not realize it, but there's 3 places around here that private people plow county roads. We have agreements with them. So Smart Creek, Douglas, right, and, right up here in Granite. Private people plow that road.
Thank you, Chuck. Hey,
How do you
that
come up
is
with
the
that
end of our agenda item. I want to
Oh.
thank you.
Yeah, how did that agreement?
It's just an agreement on how they plow the road, the specifications.
How much they spend? Do you help with that?
No, they're doing all.
Okay, please. I asked for public comment, you raised your hands, and then when I asked again, there was no hands. Now all of a sudden we have chitter chatter going back and forth, and I think that what we need to do right now is, this will be on a future agenda item soon to discuss with the Forest Service, our maintenance agreement coming from our master plan for Granite County and the Forest Service. Thank you. Okay, our next agenda item, which we're running late, we're actually 15 minutes late, is the alcohol tax dollar service provider designation. From Zenith View LLC Butte Cares. Do we have anybody else that?
So Zenith Cares is they were gonna come in. I don't know if she's here yet. Butte Cares, they did contact me this morning and their representative is not feeling well, so she cannot make it in, and she wanted to see if she could reschedule with you at a later date. So I told her I would let you know, but the other parties were already scheduled, so likely going to come in.
What's the deadline on it again? Is it?
The fiscal, I think it's June.
Okay, so you have some time.
First time using the gavel?
Huh?
Your first time using the gavel?
I didn't dare do this.
Yeah, that's timeout and softball.
Are you Kiana?
How's it going?
Okay.
Called the hot seat.
Perfect.
Okay, Billy just informed me that we have LLC View.
No, Zenith
Cares
Cares
is not going to be.
Butte Cares will not be here.
Oh, that's what I was getting.
Sorry.
And we have Zenith View LLC.
So I don't know if I should give this to you
Okay,
or.
so if you introduce yourself.
I absolutely will. My name is Kiana and I do addiction counseling as well as anger management, and I do DUI and MIP classes. And that brochure is actually my other friend. We have 2 separate businesses, but we work together. She owns a nonprofit or I don't know if she owns it, but she runs a nonprofit in Butte that does peer support as well. She does DUI classes, MIP classes. I also do anger management through her services, and she'll do assessments. I'm happy to do assessments as well, but in order to do those MIP and DUI classes, the assessments are needed. So she was planning on being here, but she couldn't make it today. So I told her I would make sure to include her brochure because we do work together. As far as anything that we do, we've talked about the fee schedule. We're both on the same page. So what I'm showing you, her and I would both do these prices. We offer Zoom as well as in person. We were talking about it. We would be happy to do, if there was enough people, we wanted to at least have a minimum of 4, if it was adults or youth, if we were going to do an in-person class, but we would do it once a month. And we can offer that service as well as Zoom. We do one-on-ones, and that tends to work better for most people because of their schedules. So we work with them. We are also able to take Medicaid. That's another bonus. I know I'll do payments for the DUI or MIP classes if somebody wants, because they're not going to get their certificate until they're completely paid, but they would be paying for the classes that they receive. So if they need 12 hours and they can't do it all at once and pay a lump fee, that's fine. I would work with them. I know Mandy does not want to do payments. but we kind of counter each other that way. So we'll fill in where the other person doesn't want to do something. We're like, okay, we'll make it work. But we're
Where are you
also,
out of?
I
Sorry.
actually am out of here. I'm out of Phillipsburg. Yeah, I live here in town.
What does Mandy do?
So she's an LAC as well.
Okay.
And then she's the founder of White Buffalo. And then Zenith View is my business. So that's the two separate, but we work together.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. Yeah. And I did include my bio just so you guys had some background. I've actually have a lot of experience working with DUI offenders. That's where most of my training came from. It was about 12 years working in an intensive inpatient treatment facility for DUI felonies or felons, but then it kind of changed as time changed. And now I've had a private practice for close to 3 years. So, and I still work with Job Corps, I work with youth as well as adults still. And then I service the Deer Lodge, Anaconda, Butte, and Granite County in person. And then the other areas I'll do Zoom.
So has Justice Court here been referring people to you then, or you?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Maybe I can get on their list or whatever.
Yeah, I did talk to the judge actually last week. So that had worked, and then Billy, or maybe it wasn't last week, but then Billy contacted me like the next day. So it actually was pretty awesome. So thank you. Yes. I can grab. I will definitely bring more if you guys want. I can make some
Yeah,
here.
I think.
Absolutely, yeah. And contacting either one of us, we will communicate with each other because when we do the classes, we even talked about that we probably do those together if they're in person. Because if you're doing a 6-hour class one day and a 6-hour the next day, we would probably split that up, or we each do 3 hours, but we'd be here together. So we'd make that work. But yeah, did you guys have any questions? I know there's kind of a lot there. I don't know if that's pretty cut and dry.
Personal opinion, I just assume usually, right, or local.
Yeah,
It gets better and you know the people around. And that's my opinion.
The John Reese is the other one that.
Right, she
was-
can't make it,
can't
and,
make it,
and I think because she can't make it, we have to give her an opportunity.
Absolutely. No,
Okay,
totally.
so we'll put her on the agenda at a later date. And we have till when, June, to get this sent back in, who we're giving our money to?
I think so. A copy of it, but it's with.
So we still have a little bit of time to
Perfect.
make our decision who we're going to designate this money to go to.
Absolutely. And I also, and I don't know if, because I don't understand exactly a lot of the tax relief money, but I am fully state approved in Granite County.
Yes.
So there
Yep.
should be tax
Yes,
money.
yes.
I don't understand it, but
Yeah.
whatever that means. So, yes, okay.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, and no, I understand completely. And yeah, I thank you for the opportunity to.
Yes,
Thank
very
you.
well.
meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
it's good to
you.
see you.
William Bradshaw, the county attorney.
Yes. it's so good to see you. All right, take care.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I think we forgot to vote on the motion to table the annual plan. Did we vote on it?
Now they ran out of time, they started cutting down grass and stuff.
We better vote on it.
Yeah,
Or the chair could just table it on their own.
just
Yeah.
table it.
Yeah, the authority, yeah.
So, we did jump ahead to the alcohol tax dollar service, but I'll go back to the 10 o'clock agenda item, and we are tabling the annual road maintenance plan with the US Forest Service until we can discuss further and get more information from the Forest Service.
For your interview coming up, I made a notation that it will be open to the public, but not on Zoom. And so whichever you decide, I just
So if
notated
it's
that.
too loud, we keep, it's not like we're going, being it's so loud out there, can we just keep the door shut? I know it's not a closed session, but it's, I guess you just can't hear because you can't really go out and ask the people to leave.
It's not locked, so they can come in and still.
Okay, our next agenda item is the public health nurse interview. That is open to the public, but we're not going to be available on Zoom. So we will be putting Zoom down for this interview and, we will Zoom back up when the interview's over.
I'm gonna take off unless you wanted me here for this. Okay, so I'll go back a little.
Are you gonna?
Okay, the, interview with the public health nurse, we have offered the position to to Deborah Robinson, who's an RN, and entry level on the matrix at $44. And she's received our offer and she has signed it, accepted the position. Is there a motion to accept? Do we have to do that, Binks? Okay. Okay.
Done deal, that's a good deal.
It is 11:15. We have 15 minutes before the damn. I think we have 15 minutes. You want to take a break?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going off for 15 minutes before our next agenda item.
You on here?
It is 11:30 and the next agenda item is the dam tenders report, Georgetown Lake outflow. So the lake or reservoir, whatever you want to call it, water elevation surface is 6428.95 feet, 6.6 inches below pool.
Stay about the same.
Stayed right out, yeah.
And we're doing 25, right?
Yep.
Of
Supposed to have moisture this week, I mean,
No.
we don't know, they say, and then, last night we had rain, not much, but nothing.
Well, according to Todd's report, he had us stand at 25 to the left. Make a motion, stay at 25.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Things none. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried and passed. Give us 15 minutes for that one.
Sign that, put it in here, Blanche.
Here, let me guys get it signed. Need two of us. Sorry.
Legal beagles here.
The legal beagle.
We don't know much. They'll still all that damn wind. We're supposed to get high. We never give, we housed a couple, I said, no. I'm sorry to tell you no, but they were given high warnings on like on Flathead Lake today because the wind. We'll be getting a lot more wind, I mean, that little bit of rain inside, it just dried it out the damn. I think, yeah, see what that lake can do. It's gonna-
The motion already?
Yes.
What was that?
25.
25.
Chuck.
What's it at, the lake level, the, how many
It's
inches?
Minus 6.6.
6.6?
6428.95.
So it's rate, it's rising?
It's staying almost the same.
Last week was 684.
So this week it's 6.6.
No,
Pretty much.
it was hot though.
When do we go up? In May?
And 15, it's 30, but, yeah, they'll, I guess depending, yeah, see how, yeah, if it goes up on the spill or again, yeah, if it's spillway.
What's
When did we go into a panic mode? When we had this, yikes!
It was in June.
May, yeah.
June, end of
So
May.
as much as we go into it, as much as how political it is.
Can I talk about one thing here?
Sure.
So, Michael Cleveland was working with, Scott Cromwell on just a couple, it looks like a few minor changes to the contract. I haven't looked at them yet, but we may just want to do this another agenda item
Yeah, I
next week.
think so.
Yeah, let's see, look at it.
Because we'll have to go over and look at it, and
Yeah.
see what they're changing on that.
Everything
Couple of-
is.
yeah.
So can we get that on for next week?
Yep.
Next week is timely enough?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, they're still waiting for the. Yeah, the elevator's gotta be built.
That's what he was saying the other day in here, that that's why they kind of want to get it moved, so he can tell them, actually get it going, so they have it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have approved it, so it just needs, they need to get that going.
I'm sure they have put it down on there.
Yeah.
Ain't that much out. Plus, they must find somebody to put it in, because they're gonna do all the other, and he said they have to. Especially doing it, so I guess that's what we need to know, if they're, hopefully Scott will take care of that and make sure they're qualified.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is gonna be a big thing, I don't wanna get, my thing to end up with a bond, and then they would have big holes and half-assed things.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, we're waiting for our next agenda item, which is at 11:45 with the Granite County Sheriff Scott Dupperson to update the commission on the DUI task force, which is a line item in his budget that he uses just from income coming from the DUI task force, correct?
And alcohol catering licenses. Go into that, yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those.
Are we gonna get started on that then, or?
No, I can't.
That's probably the biggest, there's, some of the reimbursement fees for, driver's licenses go into that as well, but it's not that much money. The majority of it's alcohol catering licenses. When somebody has to pay a reinstatement fee with the state of Montana to get their driver's license back after a DUI or after it's suspended, $100 goes to the state, and I think 100 goes to the county, but it's usually just $200 or $300 a quarter, or so it's not very much, so. But the alcohol catering licenses funds most of our DUI patrols, overtime patrols, so. There's, so. I can keep going, but you haven't started.
To make a decision on the nurse, or is that,
Yes.
okay, all right, good job.
Who'd you hire?
44.
Deb Robinson.
One that.
Deb,
Current one, but she's been working through Anaconda, she'll be an employee now.
She's pretty good.
And,
Yeah.
We offered her 44 and she accepted.
Starting July,
Well,
No,
maybe she might start earlier.
oh,
she's gonna work.
She-
44 an hour,
Yeah.
Yes. She's going to let us know when she's
Nurses.
available.
okay.
What's that per year?
60, and is
Take it times 2080.
Anaconda Deer Lodge goes good with her starting early too, or we gotta work
She's
that
gonna-
with-
she-
Just
We
contract.
just have to put a notice in, and then she just says that she wants to be done. It's up to her. She's gonna talk, but she don't wanna leave on a bad note either, or we have a contract.
Yeah, we have the contract through the end of June, so it'd have to be, they'd have to agree to it.
$44 an hour times 2080, which is the allowable hours per year, is $91,520.
Good run, good.
Yeah.
Plus benefits.
I was gonna too.
I think it's well worth it.
Oh, hell yeah. She can go get more, and then, like she said, and then, it's, you can't believe how busy it is, there's other people coming in and out of there.
Yeah.
And then once
So
they-
Drummond Clinic's getting, or is it just health center?
The health
County
center,
health.
yeah. Plus then when she can give stuff and we can get money back on shots and that, we're giving. So, just there's a lot of little stuff that's gonna come back in the town. So, I think it's a good deal. know, soon, someday it might be just that they work out of down there, cause they have all this stuff set up with the drum, especially with WIC, you know, and all that, so it's just something to think about.
Well, I think if we have county offices here in the courthouse, I think she can still come up to it. It's
No,
not
I'm
just,
just saying. I didn't say.
I'm picking on
Didn't we already have this argument earlier?
Like a husband and wife.
I'm turning to you and staying away from him. So he's happy.
I see you're picking on me more today than we even talked about. It is a big old square table, but it's kind of round all of a sudden.
It's your turn.
That's all right, I can handle it. And a lot of stuff, you know, I mean, it's been on the website now, it's just, it's the best we can.
Well, it's not about how incompetent we are or how much taxes you pay.
Well, then when that guy said that, you know, well, he's gonna, maybe he should just send us a bill, and so I asked Cameron, did he have authority to get on that road? We never did, so I answered, that's not something to sit there and threaten us, he might send us a bill.
Yeah, he was being.
Was that a Forest
being
Service
silly.
road he's on or was it county road?
Trying to be
It's Lake Shore
funny.
Road, he said he was bounded on weekend, he never signed nothing, Cameron said he did, he just opened up something on himself.
Oh, he said he was actually on a county road doing
No,
that?
he did
It's on Lake Shore.
Oh,
He was
Forest
on Lake
Service.
Shore on weekend.
wow.
I mean, he's the one that said it, it's right on record.
For customers?
So why don't they hire him just to do it?
That's what I was gonna throw at.
You can come up here and visit with us.
Deb, accept.
Or are you just sitting in the audience to sit in the audience?
I just wanna see what it looks like from this side.
Thanks.
What do you guys discuss? Are you on
Deb-
break?
Deb accepted.
I paid my taxes that went up 68%.
So did I.
And they actually fill potholes in Drummond. I'll have to tell Gail, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't mind paying my taxes so much because I
Yeah.
got a broken axle in one of the potholes down there.
Yeah, they got after it.
Yeah,
County guys were
That's
gonna
pretty
go
good.
up and fix that big, there's two great big holes behind the school, they were gonna go up and through before that.
well, they patched that bridge on South Main there too, the whole thing.
Yeah,
Nice,
Like, you
eh?
know
the
what?
county did
That's
that,
county.
Well, there was a couple of those I hit on. North Main Street.
Brian,
All the toll.
was that your son?
Yeah, they did a hell of a job. I mean, that's just saying, we don't have to go after the grant and all that, you know, it's done over.
What holes behind the school?
There's something that are sinking out of, and the Gale talked to Paul was gonna bring it up, I think he forgot, but they're gonna go up and fill in a couple big holes up there.
The millings they put
Who's
down
that?
deteriorated.
The counties?
Like where you're turning.
Help them so.
When you drive the school bus on that back road to the
Oh,
gym,
yeah,
there's some
yeah.
bad ones, I know.
yeah.
Is that what? Yeah.
There's one right at the base of that road too.
Yeah,
Two.
yeah.
The road.
No, they got after the potholes down there. I was surprised.
Who's doing that?
Justin Harrington. In
This
town
guy.
anyway.
City guy.
Yeah, but Justin Harrington. Yeah.
He does a good job.
Yeah, the bridge, you can actually drive across it now without looking like you're under the influence going down the road.
I haven't gone that way in over a
Oh,
year.
it's so
probably.
bad. When you see somebody swerving, you know they're missing the potholes.
You don't patrol right there.
Yeah.
Mhm. April 30th. April 30th.
What's that?
April 30th.
Okay.
Here is to give Ashley,
Oh,
and this is where I need her to sign,
okay.
and then I need Dr. Khan to sign too. So
Her, you don't have any plans to be in Anaconda? No. I'll see if she'll stop.
Well,
by
I'll see if
tomorrow.
Deb can take it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're close enough to our next agenda item, which is the Granite County Sheriff Dot Stumperton.
Did you breath test?
I can call it what's
Scott Jefferson.
Yeah.
To update the commission, am I tired or what, on the DUI task force? Go ahead, Scott.
Y'all got the letter that I wrote?
Yeah.
It's not much, a lot different than last year, but we did pick up someone to talk about some of the members on the board, and we need more. We still don't have a community participant that I'm aware of. I have heard interest from like the town clerk down here, and I told her to get a hold of Billy and get on the agenda for appointment by the commission. So we need an infusion of fresh blood, but we did get a student representative from the schools. She was at our last meeting, and I think she's gonna be, instrumental in helping us in our goals of education and prevention in the schools and stuff like that. So that's been good. The statute requires me to update you guys on the budget. All the numbers are in that letter, most recent numbers anyway. As far as funds go, we were talking about this, Blanche and I, before you guys went live. We do get reinstatement fees from the state of Montana. I think those come in quarterly, and that's usually just $100, $200, maybe 300 at the most. But the alcohol catering licenses that the sheriff's office signs, that money goes into the line item for the DUI task force, which helps fund education and prevention, and our patrols for our deputies to work overtime to do DUI patrols, basically. So nothing's changed there. And when I'm talking about under the influence driving, I'm talking about drugs as well as alcohol. That seems to be on the rise statewide. So we don't have a drug recognition expert, DRE they call them. I think, well, we don't have one. But if we suspect somebody's under the influence, we just ask for blood versus breath. So
Some on the highway patrol, right? Some of the highway patrol.
they might have a DRE. I don't know who their closest, most available one is, but if they're not out at 2 or 3 in the morning, you're sunk anyway. So I've come not to rely on them. So the blood will tell the tale if we have enough reason to request that blood, that is. I stopped the guy the other day, I could smell influence. I didn't think I could press it any further beyond where I was at. He wasn't acting as though he was under the influence, but
Particular license patient, you didn't have it.
I didn't have it. Anyway, I wrote out in the letter most of what's going on within the DUI task force. I just know the statute requires me to update you on the status of that in April. So,
I won't be here on May 1 for the DUI task force meeting, but I just sent you, or took over to the office, and I gave some stuff to Blaine on youth cannabis and out of Missoula. So
we do try to get stuff brought in through our student rep. She's probably the best source of information for us to educate kids on vaping, anything, the money's available for the education and prevention, and I think we try to stay pretty active doing that. Our biggest problem right now is it's not a money thing, because we get a lot of those catering licenses. It's membership, and if you don't get new membership coming into the boards like that, pretty soon you just go stagnant.
I talked to one person who may be interested, so, yeah.
New members have good ideas. It helps keep it vitalized.
The commission could do a motion just to accept his report.
Okay, wait, I have a question here. I was looking up. Do you know what the budget line item is for the revenue, where that comes in?
It should be under the DUI task force plan.
It's 420180 DUI task
No,
force.
revenue. That's,
It's not on there.
expenditure. So I think it comes in the general fund.
1,000 general fund.
I'd have to ask, Asher, I guess, on what they do, that question.
I'm thinking it is.
Because any monies we get for immunization goes into the general fund.
A lot of will operate like this, so. I just know we anticipate a certain number every year, I forget the exact number last year, was it 15,000-ish? Going off memory here, so
Yeah, it should be the general fund.
that's what we're bringing in typically through those alcohol catering licenses, could even be more than that, but it's enough to cover, it gives us extra help too on some of these shifts where we get kind of busy with alcohol related calls. We could go on and on about this not just being a DUI problem, this is a domestic violence issue as well, as far as addiction. Like, we've been dealing with a bunch of it. And
The budget was 12,120.
I see the budget was 12,000. I just want to see what the revenue was, but I can't.
it's gonna, Blanche, it should.
So is it alcohol and rehab apportionment?
It comes out
Is
of.
that the line item?
It should be under catering licenses.
Catering and driver's license reimbursement.
Yeah.
Or reinstatement.
No.
That's, you know.
They don't have that.
I might have
I'm
to
just,
look-
it's in the general fund, correct?
I have to look on the
Yeah,
receipts
I'm
or
sure it
something
is.
back, yeah.
I'm just trying to, what line item are they putting it in?
I'm pretty sure it says catering licenses on those receipts. They Get back to us, will be.
Okay, do you mind if I just go, because if it's sitting here, we have,
I don't have the number, so.
I just want to know the revenue number.
Don't use much roll.
Yeah, it's still on one time.
Well, I think that we have had some crashes involving alcohol. One recently, a couple weeks ago, that very concerning, but what we see more of, we see enough of that here, but the domestic violence with alcohol, the
Yeah,
county attorney can attest to the fact that we've seen, I don't know if it's an increase, but some pretty serious calls with weapons and stuff like that.
Spring hits and those.
Alcohol,
Same time.
and some drugs in some cases seems to be the driving factor. So. If it wasn't for that, I'd be unemployed. I'd run for the commissioner or something. I'm teasing, Scott.
Get out of the chair.
I start writing in the newspaper, yes.
You want my job? You want my job?
No, I'm good.
You got a new nurse. You'll be all right.
He is thinking about going to be a nurse though,
Yeah.
44 an hour.
Yeah. I should have left nursing school.
You should have.
I should have. I just about, when I became an EMT, I thought I
Yeah.
had
Kane has, he's doing.
in
all right.
'98.
Boy, he's doing a good
Yeah.
job. I've known a couple of people that have dealt with him down at Holy College.
Kane's
Is he working at ER?
Kane's a good kid.
Oh,
Both.
Who's this?
Kane
Kane
is.
has some people
Oh, yeah.
Did be down our race, so.
Does a really good job.
He's on the EMT now? Or he's an RN?
All right.
See local kids.
Yeah. Good discussion.
She wanted to see what was coming in on that, and I should apologize.
12,000
I should have had
and
that.
then you only spent 2,500, so you still got 90 that you can roll over, still keep it in.
And there might be even more revenue than that. Yeah,
I'm sure I'm
I didn't have it all.
pretty sure there is. I sign a lot of those catering licenses, so
Rancher Rock,
not a
right?
lot lately, but like some weekends I'll get, half a dozen, a dozen. Just
Yeah.
depends on what's going on, so.
They're going to this confluence the other day. There's some of these places, I think we can have them come in and do some talking to the kids. I just gotta have the time to visit with them and
We got
probably
pretty good-
next,
Yeah, we got.
I would
pretty
think
good
next fall would probably be
participation.
gonna be our,
Yeah, yeah, they're wrapping things up
Stevie Schmidt did a great job. I think,
with up here.
yes. The Drummond kids, they were being kind of naughty, but
Well, I think
the Phillipsburg kids
What
really
we've done-
embraced him.
you guys, we give out those gift cards to, like, if we come
Yeah.
across somebody that we stopped, that's a sober driver driving some people drinking, we'll give them a gift card to a business. We rotate businesses we do it with, we purchase gift cards and we give it to that person doing the right thing, but
it's been, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, we had a bartender call a guy who was under the influence and he had a minor accident out front of the bar. This bartender did the right thing. She actually wouldn't let him leave, till we got there. And anyway, I still haven't got her one of those, but, well, he was causing a disturbance in the bar too, so.
I went to DUI in Missoula. The lady tried to drive off. Someone grabbed her keys and gave them to me. She tried to get them back. I was like, no, go sit in your car. School teacher. Yeah, last day of school.
Well, it's a good thing
Missoula.
you didn't let him drive, because,
I'm sorry, but we're just saying 33, 50, 25. It all comes in under the DUI task force. Is where the money comes in. Plus you have, so they're putting it all in under that line item for revenue.
Okay.
And so far, received year to date as of April, you have received $3,925.65.
But that's only the, just year to date, right?
Year to date.
Yeah, so, okay.
And I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that you use that for your budget purpose, that line item, to anticipate what you're going to receive for next year. And that's what goes
Yes.
into the expenditure line item.
yes. And most of the cost on that is for overtime patrols.
Yeah.
We're gonna get along, this table square.
Most of it's for overtime patrols, some of it, if we have to pay a speaker or whatever, and then it comes out of there as well. We got pretty good participation on the board, we just need, you know, maybe a public member and stuff like that, and I told that person to get over commission.
Is there any other revenue line item that you pull money into that? Or
Just the reinstatement fees, that's it, and that's probably not gonna be over $1,000 a year, Blanche.
And then when that comes up and goes forward, the treasurer puts it into the DUI task force.
They should be, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that might be one thing that. Check,
With our new treasurer.
because it might be going in.
It's hard telling, I've caught it going in all kinds of different places, buying road tires.
So and you, what
Yeah,
you could,
watch out for that.
you could do on that is maybe ask the clerk or recorder for detail list of what's gone into that line item of the DUI task force.
I have in the past, and I'm going off memory. I wanted to say it was well over $20,000 last time I talked the total that came in. Are you talking about the total number since
Yeah, we
we
just want to
started?
make sure you're getting money and it's not put in the wrong line item.
Okay,
On that note, I'll make the motion that we accept Scott's letter on the DUI information.
Is there any public comment? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Hey, there we go. I mean, seriously, this is a good letter in showing the budget side of it, the expenditure side, but I just wanted to see the revenue side. Because that's what you base your next year's budget on, what you've received the prior year.
it shouldn't be that hard to ask Ashley for that. What's we're bringing in on those catering, I get receipts for all those deposits. Excuse me, no, they pay them automatically through the treasurer's office, but that shouldn't be too hard to find out.
Because there is that little process of what goes in the general fund doesn't necessarily get thrown into the department head's budget line item fund. And so he keeps track of
Yeah, I mean, I can still weapons permit money.
to make sure.
Got spent, and I had to make sure that get put back in, because that's supposed to roll over every year. Because when I became sheriff, it wasn't being deposited, it's a long story. But I had like $15,000 in concealed weapons permit monies, and the next year I noticed there was 0 in that, I'm like, that's not the way that's supposed to work, so I know what you're saying, Blanche.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so what you've
Watch out for
expended so far this year in March, total was $2,514 dollars.
Yeah. The board approves that money for the overtime patrols, but I've never had them say no when I request additional money for them either, so. That deputy might not necessarily do a DUI call, he might back up another deputy on a domestic involving alcohol, it's just hard to tell. If they've got a breakaway on those 4 hours, I would just get it, so. Anyway.
There, this is just information to the public. Everybody understand? Thank you, Sheriff.
Go down to the Wi-Fi and have a couple, you'll understand.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Noon.
Are you sure you're
not
that at
Checked out.
That explanation is I transferred the S to the
Okay,
D
it was-
to the.
Yeah. Easily done.
Okay.
My mom used to scream at me in Spanish. It was probably the worst words in that, so.
We've got a minute before our next agenda item. Get this back in there.
Survival Spanish for law enforcement. They do this, all of that works. on
So anyhow, Steph said she could
No,
take that
when I was listening, I thought,
over
"You sure
and
my mom was saying that.
get Kara to sign
You want me to get Ashley to sign it?
Yeah. Or something, we'll get it.
Yeah, and I can text Kara and see if she can stop on her way. I don't know if Dylan's-
Or could we scan it to her and she could scan it back?
I can. The quality's the bird.
What's that?
When she scans stuff back to me, their scanner, I don't think is all that
Her
great.
chance was acting up
And
one day
she's
on
one of
the
those
ranch.
people that uses it really
He had
good.
one of those riding crops. He must have been 70 years old.
I'll
He
get
was
Ashley to sign it.
Yeah.
I think Dylan's.
But that got his attention, because they make more noise than anything.
Yeah.
That got his attention in a hurry. Better quit.
Monica sometime about with Frank and I were making fun of her. We were at having a hot dog cook, was up hunting. She took one of those sticks. Hospital.
Good.
And then I'll explain this stuff. Let's do this.
I never got it from my grandfather. My older brothers did, and they said he'd grab a switch.
Is if you put what on it?
Is this?
Yeah.
Which tells.
Different age, yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah, he
is.
was a switch guy.
Go ahead, this chair has to get out of the way.
Yeah, it's our overflow chair.
Okay, our next agenda item is form letter to address the employees going on unpaid status, vacation and sick leave. Leave. Okay, so it's kind of come to the attention of the commission that there's an issue with people who are not working at their full-time status, and that they should not be taking leave when they don't have vacation sick.
Needs to be pre-approved by
It needs
the,
to be pre-approved by,
or his department head.
Department head
Department head.
or supervisor. Yeah. Not revenue, just supervisor.
Granite County Commissioner's Office.
Hi, is Blanche available?
Okay, we're in session right now.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to tell, is it Blanche? Because
Yes.
I wanted to tell you, you run a great meeting. And in case I missed it, I think you should have told the citizens that the reason this whole came about is because of the bitching and threatening of lawsuits.
Okay.
Talking
Thank
about
you.
Lakeshore Drive.
On Lakeshore Drive? Or what?
Yeah.
Okay. And your name was?
Denise Fletcher, we live up there.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment. Appreciate it. All right,
That was it.
okay,
You
bye.
might start at 5.
Wait a minute, you guess.
To me, I'd say safety, because then,
Okay.
when you say you're just worried about lawsuit, you're worried about money, but we're worried about lives.
Yeah. Okay, so the form was given to you to look over. And what needs to happen is, what's not happening is that the commission needs to step up to the plate on some employees that we are in the supervisory position for their time cards. You're looking at me very funny.
But this is a proposed memo that would go out to everyone in that situation, right?
Yes.
Let them know what's going on.
Yeah, so what needs to be done is a form letter, but what also needs to be done is that supervisors need to know when the vacation and sick on that particular employee has been depleted. Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
So after payroll, we go through and we have a form that we put in how much people earned and what they've used, and we have a running track of that, so that at the end of the year, when people have too much vacation, then we can let them know that they need to take it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so when we do that, we would also be able to see when people are low, or, you know, or at zero or negative. And then that, I think, is when it would trigger that letter to be sent to the supervisor of the, so I think that's what the form is, and that's how it would get triggered. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
So Blaine, here's a question for you. Say they do not have enough vacation and sick for that month, and that is including the vacation and sick accrued in that month.
So they
And
get sent the letter, and then they've got to get approved by their supervisor to miss any more, and then be unpaid. But if they don't have a permission approval, then it's basically absent without leave. Yeah.
Okay, so just a second, Scott. This would be one.
I get this all the time.
Yeah. I just want to finish. It would have to go. It would have to go to the supervisor for them to even take an unsupervised day off. The supervisor would have to know.
Has to be told that they're, but I think it'd be, someone wakes up in the morning, they're sick or whatever, then they better get on the phone with their supervisor and get it approved. Yeah.
Right, so I guess I think what you're asking is that, so when they're real low on time, and we give that to the supervisor, so then so that's at the beginning of the month. So if like in 2 weeks, somebody says, hey, I want to take 5 days off, the supervisor would be able to, well, you're really low and you wouldn't be able to, and then that's when, so.
Okay, Scott, you had.
Can they take, so where you're saying they're low, we're out of that, so say it was here in last month, can they jump to the next month and pull any from there?
Not really, but the number that they see on their notice of deposit is actually, so that's at the end of that period, and so they would add another 10 to whatever that is, and that's what they would have for that month.
Okay, I just want to make a comment then I'll. Once upon a time when I was payroll clerk, we kind of had some of that problem. And we'd throw them in the negative, but we wouldn't let them go in too far. But that was just, so they'd be in the negative and then they'd take them.
But this would, what we're trying, I think what you guys are trying to do is just so that everybody is aware that you're going this, and we know that this is, and you'll be okay.
Speaking from a department position, I think that's not a bad idea, because the only letters I get is they're maxed out, and that's usually what I get on my staff. Because I don't know, anybody that is down to zero on their sick time is probably abusing it already anyway, in my opinion.
Okay, so here's what's happening.
If they had zero, I would say, well, you're not gonna get it, so you're not gonna get paid. I'd like to know. if they're down to that level.
There's one issue though with like people with disability and FMLA, then we've got to work with them. So that's a different scenario already. if there's some type
I
of
think the letter opens up that conversation though between the two,
Yeah.
you know, to
Yeah.
refer to those
Policy says all
resources.
Yeah,
I think the letter too, for the fear of abuse of sick time, I think it gives us a paper trail to start that concern, because in the policy you can request medical or like a doctor's note. So you can, it kind of gives you a paper trail on why you're requesting it. I
So
think.
here's one of the problems is when you get below you've used your vacation and sick and you still haven't worked the full-time allotment for that particular month, then you're going on accrual and you're not accruing the actual 10 and 8 that you're allowed to receive is the problem. Right?
Right, so that it triggers it if they're down strictly at the hours. Now we're not talking about your vacation and
Yeah.
sick that you have, but if you start working, you're supposed to have the average of 173, whatever. I mean, every month is a little bit different. So, but if you are only working 140, then you would only get that, prorated amount of vacation, instead of.
So you can prorate there.
Yeah, that's what would happen, right? If you're all out of your vacation and sick, you can't bring it up to the hours that you should have that month, then you do start getting your.
Okay, and that's where the problem is when you're actually not getting your allotted 10 and 8 or more years, then you're prorating, so you're not, it needs to be approved by your supervisor that you're not getting your full-time hours and you don't have enough vacation and sick to cover it. So you need permission to take the time off that you're taking time off.
Right, and that, which is what your
Yeah.
letter is,
Yeah.
so we'll just kind of trigger
Do you
that.
understand that?
So you need,
Yeah, as written, the letter, I think that memo looks good.
so you need a motion acceptance in this letter to each department head, so everybody's on the same board.
Right, but we'd only do it
Just in
if
that
they're
instance.
down low, right? I mean, we don't need to send these to reports,
Well, I think they
Or-
need to understand what we're understanding.
right? So I mean,
That's a
but
problem.
Scott, what I'm asking is, so at the beginning of every month, once we've done payroll, that the supervisors should get a report of where all their people are at, so that they've got that in there.
I
Okay.
understand that, I was just, yeah.
Let them
Okay.
see this letter beforehand, so they know that this.
Right, and then they just have a,
Yeah.
So they know
Yeah.
exactly what they're getting, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, there is one other problem that we need, as long as we're addressing this. There are time cards that aren't getting signed. And I think those time cards should fall under, because they don't have supervisors, so they fall under the commissioners.
We used to do it all the time. Got away from it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of
Come back
illegal.
to.
yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah, we
Yeah.
used to sign, we used to see everybody's time cards.
So, and that's, the commissioners dropped the ball on that, and I will find out from, which includes you little guys that are in here right now, that the commission will be signing your time cards. So
We don't have bosses.
if you have unpaid status, you need to get permission not to use that, which would be unpaid status. Did you have a question? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Have a good lunch.
I'll make the motion and we'll go ahead with this.
Okay,
I second it.
okay, and then with, like you were mentioning, any public comment? Means none, all in favor? Aye. Anybody that has a disability has to go through the FML.
FMLA,
They
and
got
so that's a
approved.
different.
They have to show proof that this and with the doctors.
It's a certification process.
Yeah, just hopefully department
Yeah.
heads know that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then there's only so much a lot of time, there's like 12 weeks, I guess, that you could use in a pay period.
In a year.
In a year.
Okay, all right,
All right.
good talk.
Thanks.
Awesome.
See you, Sarah.
Okay, next agenda item is kind of a work session to review budget for courthouse elevator. So we get,
Oh, I didn't do any crowns.
Stuff to show how much we had and what we paid and all that, or is that?
No, I didn't print anything. I figured you would,
so we just need to decide where we're coming from.
guess it's hard to-
We need to go, okay, we got, I'm starting to talk like you.
We got the sheriff here.
We have.
Y'all got it now, don't get it?
Okay, we've been here too long. We have to figure out what accounts that we're coming out of. And we know we have, let me get the cash report up here. Just to look at the cash report. And the main one is what? Blaine, do you know that one right off?
You're talking about ARPA? Or
ARPA?
ARPA's I think it's 600,000 was my understanding.
Okay, ARPA.
Yeah. Around, that was my understanding.
Find the number.
600, you're saying?
Yeah, like, yeah, around there.
Is it called ARPA?
I don't know what it's in there.
These glasses.
No.
Do you want me to have Sarah come back?
I
think it's gonna be.
This is, the whole thing was just trying to see where we're taking money and what we have in, what's in the elevator.
Fun.
Fun.
Your savings.
And then what we need to take and where from.
ARPA, okay. In the ARPA fund. 2994.
How much in ARPA?
We have for cash, there is 1,367,979.
That's an ARPA.
That's just the cash on hand in ARPA. So then.
Do you have some of that already allocated? You don't?
I'm just getting the cash.
Okay, you're just talking
Okay,
about cash.
just
all right.
what cash on hand. Then we'll go to that 2994,
Okay,
and there's a line item that we have allocated for the elevator.
yeah, okay.
There's also money in capital project
How much is that?
under the elevator fund.
How much is that one?
So that is 4,000, and,
4,000.
okay, that's fund 4,000, sorry. Fund 4,000, fund 4,000. So I'm gonna have to look that up to see what's in there, but because there's several cash amounts in
Yeah.
that. Then where else are we taking it from?
Talk
Pill?
about
Talk about, there was something else, and then we talked about pill too. Right now, we're looking more at the ARPA and that L, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, LATCF.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
LATCF, which one is that? That isn't the CARES, is it?
No, it's the newest one. One we used, I gave you
Okay,
to the departments.
Is it called LA?
TCF.
Where's that middle forest? Didn't do my homework. Sorry. Crime control.
I thought it was 160 in LATCF.
160.
It's not LEPC, right?
No,
TCF.
LATCF.
Go ask. Sorry.
And would you grab the capital one for the, and we'll know on all, would you grab the capital one for the, that we put the money in?
The capital?
Yeah.
For the.
Okay.
Cancer that.
No, I just had a little bit of cinnamon roll, that's shit, they got what, wheat?
Yeah, wheat Montana cinnamon rolls.
Scott,
No, I see them in there, in the past. That should be.
Everyone's a little rowdy today.
This guy's a. Cause there was that capital, the LATCF, and I thought there was something else besides the ARPA that we were.
I thought your big ones were ARPA and the capital project, and if you couldn't cover it, then I thought you were gonna pull from PIL.
How much money is in built?
How much is in Bill? Million, just say maybe more, not.
Not.
But how much? A million something, I'm not quite sure, but there is a million. I think we'll be all right on that. I just want to make sure we all knew how much we had in there.
1.4 million.
If we didn't, wow.
Michael Cleveland,
So I couldn't find that LA because it's in the ARPA fund. line item.
Oh, that's why there's so much money in there. That's why there's so much money in there.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
What was this, what was that?
That LATCF funds are in the ARPA fund.
Okay.
So in
That's
the-
why there's so much money in there.
In the ARP, in the LATCF, the capital outlay budget is for this year. Budget 506. And let's see, there's capital outlay 600,000. Supplies 372,000. Maintenance and repair 556,000. So there's three different line items in that. 600,000 is what we were anticipating.
600,000.
Well, this one,
LATCF, she's saying there's another 500 plus, there'd be 800, that'd be a million, really four. Or two, three.
this.
See how much money they have in the
funds-
elevator.
The funds are in the ARPA funds. Okay,
6, 5, and 3. Right, Lauren?
let me look and see here on the budget for this. Actual. All right, guys, budget query. Okay, so you saw that there is 1,367,979.
It filled.
So we have available appropriation right now in the line item 420651, repairs and maintenance. There's 485,685.32.
But that includes
That's just
everything?
that's just in ARPA to 360. That's one line item for the expenditure side.
ARPA and LATCF are in together.
Okay.
Okay, so that's,
All right.
the total budget is 367, and so the cash is still 367. So then in LATCF, the capital outlay, the appropriation is 600,000. And we have 571,000 in that line item. So there's 485,000 in repairs and maintenance and 571,000 in capital outlay. There's also 311,293 in supplies for LATCF.
So we're sitting at 1,300,000.
Yeah.
But all that capital outlay was set for the elevator bathroom project, or was that for other
Okay,
projects?
so
too?
the capital project fund is.
Yeah. So separate building. Yeah. It's all- well, sometimes part of it.
Showing you what.
I think the best, I'll get this on my page.
One thing you guys are wanting to do is leave some out of LATCF for like future projects.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you
Yeah, we
want to
wouldn't
do
use
that.
the full.
Okay.
That's why I was saying, telling
Yeah.
you this, we don't wanna drain every one of them just
No.
for this, so they're gonna have to offset a little bit of this, and then the field has to pick up a little bit, I just don't think we should.
So what you, we're holding off to 600,000 for sure, right? Remember, we're holding off for the elevator in the
Yeah.
ARPA thing.
Yeah.
Is what we've been.
That's that, yeah.
And so. I heard capital project doesn't give totals in the actual.
Cause it used to be a breakdown before, you know, we could tell what's what, and how much we put in for the elevator, what's going to something else like the same bathroom, it was all, we always had a breakdown, now it's just a solid line.
Want Sarah to come in?
Well, it's not on here. So we'd have to. Okay, let's see if I can find it, just a second, really quick here. I know I'm taking up time trying to find stuff, but bear with me, so.
Good time on your agenda.
I'm not, I can't hear you because I'm not looking at you, so don't say anything. I mean it, I can hear you.
I'm not talking about you.
Okay. You're- You don't know what you're doing. I should have come in a little early, I think, and got this stuff for you.
Well, even if we had to table it or something, so that we have it
So
all in
what-
front of us, cause I got them all, the numbers all mixed up now.
Because we have to come up with 1,400,000 and somewhat thousands. That, we get what we can from like the ARPA, from the capital, and then we look at built.
Yeah, cause we're saying we don't wanna drain everything to the red point, and we don't know if something might pop up, so we have to really look.
Go in for trial balance.
It seems like we're missing something, or something else.
But does the question I have is, does that 600,000 include the LATCF?
It's in the
No.
LATCF.
But that 600 is both of them?
There was 485,000 or something in there's still
Okay.
300 and some odd thousand. There's 1,300,000, so we designated 600,000, they did spend 29,000, I think we'd want to resupplement the 29, get it back up to 600,000, right?
What was the 29?
I don't know. We spent 29, well, maybe it was one of
It
the,
might have been on some of the slate stuff.
what was it?
Do you think it was on any of the bills that we've gotten from Slate?
Oh,
Could, yeah, that could be.
We'd have to get an itemized thing, so. In the county building elevator fund, there's 172,219 that we've saved up.
And all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That totally goes, yeah. so,
Yeah.
So that's 172.
We have 600, 700, we're darn near at 800,000 already, so that other guy could break up some of that out, that 485, maybe a couple hundred on pill will be all right.
Just as start off.
Then you could have
What
it
else?
printed for next week, to have it all like printed in front of you, and then you can decide on what amounts for
And then we
each
can
fund.
go ahead with the discussion, decision, and make the motion, to take, I just throw in the numbers, I just say, we take the 600 plus the, say, 200, and 200, something that would come up to the 1.4, that way we don't go in red and all that stuff.
So let me give you the cash report for
QR, Frank picked up a Suburban yesterday. Did you see that stuff?
What's that?
Frank picked up a QR rig up in Kalispell yesterday, or
I didn't see it.
it's a Suburban that has stuff in it that you can put the cot.
Oh, like a gurney and stuff?
It's got all that stuff in there, all set up, they just got to put lights on it, and some decals.
Nice.
Pretty low mileage, really low mileage.
Okay, so right now, Pilt has $992,673.
I thought we had built was 1.2.
So and that's not counting what's gonna come in June. What are we getting?
I haven't seen those numbers yet.
Haven't seen anything
We
yet.
got on that circular road, but not on Piltdale side, we just got that 542.
Yeah,
that's
that's
on
the
us.
SRS.
Yeah, SRS, I'm just saying, we haven't got nothing on Piltdale, it's the wait till the last.
So it's gonna be over $1 million that's gonna be in Pilt. For sure. Gonna be in Pilt after June.
I just think we just put it next week and have it laying here in front of us, and we can make the discussion decision on where we're gonna take what and move on. Then we all know.
So is there any other fund that we're gonna take it out of?
I thought there was something else, I'll think about it. I can't remember, I thought there was 4 different things we was taking it out of, but that's all right.
Well, if you combined ARPA and LATCF, that's probably, that would make
Yeah, on the ARPA funds, like I said, we have $1.3 million. We can still save some and take more than the 600,000 from the ARPA funds. For budget for the.
I think so, 800 or something. I'd take 800.
Yeah.
That's
And
why I
still
think
leave-
what we have in front of us, and we write down just what exactly we're taking out of the decision.
Yeah.
And that way when they bet they're gonna come in and
It-
ask
it's-
for a
yeah.
percentage or some money to work, which.
So it's actually not what we're taking out of, it's what we're gonna budget for the following year for the cash flow that we have. Saving some for safety.
LATCF.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Remember you have that, liability insurance, it was 4,235, so that's additional than on the contract, so they're.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's the thing, if we get everything down, and if there's something where they had that contract, we need to look, see what they're changing, there's a price change there, or just, we need to make sure we're all on the same page with that too. I don't wanna get in the middle of thing and they say, well, we missed this and this $100,000.
On that additional insurance, would we take that out of comp insurance and it'd be levied?
Yeah, you could, yeah.
So we wouldn't throw it into our, because it's
Okay.
actually added liability
Yeah.
insurance coming out of comp.
I would let, Sarah know that then. to be coming from Macon.
Yeah.
Or Beardy Gill.
No, I agree. That's it, there's just a lot of little things that we need to just have time enough to sit and go through and then see what this new or what they changed and that, so.
There might be little things that is within this that we can take out of county building.
Yeah, if you're talking about change orders, very yeah. There's gonna be unforeseeable things, yeah.
Okay.
Is there any
We'll put that on next week, Billy.
public comment on our work study shop thing for where we're gonna get the funds for the elevators?
The budget for the courthouse elevator, the ADA.
There's a
Oh.
public comment online.
And then we need to talk about, for a temporary employee to assist in moving the furniture. We told them, we're just gonna put that on, talk about, see what we got, how long, and what we have to pay now.
You guys, I think you were gonna look at money too, to see if you
Okay,
had funding
Go
available.
ahead. On that temporary thing, I don't think that should come out of the elevator. I think it should come out of county building. James, go ahead.
Thank you. I just had a question. I was trying to understand, is this contract for just the elevator or is it other things that go into the 1.4 million?
It's for everything, it's the whole, yeah, bathrooms, everything.
Okay, all right, thank you. I just didn't understand the project. Thank you.
So the elevator and ADA bathrooms.
Including bathroom up on the top floor
Yeah.
of the jury room, yeah, up by the jury.
Any other public comment? Well, on the temporary thing for moving furniture, I really think we could, there's probably budget power in the county building to, instead of throwing that minute little thing into our elevator project.
And on some of that heavier stuff, you know, if they need, if the guys aren't out doing something, they can come up and help with some of that, get it out of here too, just so we get it ready, so they can start, like the county guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they just run
Yeah.
out and help. They have before, I'm just saying, but if a temporary guy, do we have an app, or do we know who? or-
I haven't put anything together yet. Temporary
Do you have
employees
to advertise
don't,
that, or can you just hire a temp guy? I thought you could just hire. a temp.
temporary people don't have to go through the
Yeah,
competitive hiring
temporary is
process.
just like. If we'd have to, is that on the agenda?
Yeah, so yeah, you can approve it.
So we have to know how many hours we're going to.
To allow them.
There's there's a bunch of other stuff in like that, there's lots of stuff that's gonna have to get moved.
Kevin and I are gonna work on some of that stuff downstairs tomorrow, moving it, while we're working here.
Where are you moving to?
Carol was saying that's what she was in here for. She had to go, but she said that she was gonna need help getting her area cleaned out up there.
Lots of things.
And then I know that there had been some discussion last week about the map upstairs. And, I'm willing to pay out of my budget some hours to have him just kind of organize that, because I know they need part of the room for storage, and right now the maps are everywhere, so somebody's gonna have to.
Do we have anybody that we're thinking about, or is this just kind of?
Well, Janine said that she had someone that was community service that would be willing to do it.
Well, he already started doing all those maps and whatnot, so
Okay.
we've got an organizational thing going on. She added a few more things when her and I spoke about it, what she'd like done, so he'll have to go back through some of that stuff and make the list like she's asking. But yeah, he's got piles of stuff going on in boxes ready to put him in.
And he
So that there
understands-
is some organization, so we know, like, these are mining claims, these are this, these are that.
Okay, he understands the temporary position.
Yes.
Okay.
How many hours do you think is needed?
Well, if we put him in that mode doing that, if we still need, you know, we could use it for help and move other stuff. We just would have to keep track of his hours, because if she wants to pay that part of it all, then the other part is labor, which is a different thing.
Like
We'd have to
40
come out of a different budget.
Like 40 hours, or do you think more than that?
Oh, it's gonna take more than that.
Yeah, I was thinking that I could do like 40 hours out of my budget, maybe 10 of them.
We won't have 40 hours just moving our stuff though, right? Or You're saying that I can't.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
Say
you're
what now?
thinking that, we need 40 hours on the other moving stuff too? And
There's
40
a-
hours?
Oh,
plus
yeah,
yours? Okay.
definitely.
That's
There's
what
a
I'm just
lot.
asking.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
just
a lot of
asking.
No, I'm just saying that, yes, there definitely is, because with that map room, we gotta get it organized so that we can move a bunch of that stuff out of Carol's area. Cause that bathroom, or that all is gonna be redone. So, and that room's piled with crap as well.
You can approve like up to 80 hours and it can be revisited, and then,
Okay.
half of that from Linda's. I don't know that, would you have been needing to do this but
I
for
mean,
the
mine's-
project?
Yeah, no, mine
So-
doesn't need to be done but for the project, but on the flip side, it would be nice to get it done.
And you have the money in your budget?
Yeah, I think I mean, I haven't spent any of my 10,000 that I got for whatever that was.
Okay.
So I have that available and, I'm willing to use that to get the maps kind of organized and.
So I'd say a motion like up to 80 hours, half of that coming from Linda's budget, half of it coming from building. And then you need more hours, it could be
We need
revisited.
to, if the road crew,
Yeah, I know, I'm sure they're probably gonna do it. but
if there's big stuff that need to be,
Help, yeah.
Well, and the thing is that the way, it's kind of nice, they're going to do it in like the phases. Cause like right now, we need to get Carol's junk moved. And he helped her move like my stuff, and they did a great job moving my stuff around, so he did really well. Helping move my stuff, but then like Claudette's got a closet upstairs that's on the second phase, we'd have to bring people back in, so I mean, if he's on temporary where we can just authorize hours every so often.
I just make a motion that we do the 40 hours, hiring temp 40 hours for Linda, and the planning board takes care of that, and 80 hours for us.
did you have a comment, Jackie?
Yeah, cause there's money in the PEP budget too that can help with moving that public health stuff over.
Well, I guess each one of you are just gonna have to keep tabs on who does what, yes, on your, just back to that time card that we gotta have filled out, know exactly what he's doing here, there, and there.
Right.
Pretty
Right.
simple.
But I'd ask if it's county attorney stuff, it just come from the building fund. I don't know like if we didn't budget that. You're good, right?
Okay, is there a motion?
I make the motion, that we take the give 40 hours to a temp person on the planning, and it comes out of planning board, and then 80 hours. And then the PEP stuff will be kept tabs, and then we can just, once we get everything done, we'll have to look over time cards. Just go over that.
So 120 hours or 80 total?
Just 80, because
Total.
then we can look. Then we can break down if it comes and we need a little.
Are you doing 40 plus 80 or 40 plus
40 plus 80.
40 plus 80.
So
80,
120.
40 for Linda's.
So 80
for
total.
the rest of it.
Gotcha.
40 plus 80 or 40
Yes,
plus.
no, 40 plus 40 for Linda and 80 for the rest of it.
There. Got that? Yeah. All right. Is there a second?
Works for me. And if we need more, we'll just have to come back. and
Any
ask.
public comment? Seems none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried and passed.
Aye.
Okay, so our next agenda item is
Yeah, I'll put a letter.
Ben Grass with Pentler Classic Cycling Race proposal.
Yes, just state your name and who you are.
Okay.
where you're from.
My name is Ben Grass. I'm a physician in Missoula, and I'm on a team called Frontiers Racing. I'm assuming you guys got a copy of this race proposal that I sent. So basically, I don't know how much background you actually want, but historically, there in the early 2000s, there was this huge stage race hosted in Western Montana that sort of died out, and then there were some single stage iterations of that around 2010 and intermittently through the 2010s. The current sort of race promoter in Missoula that has been doing the state road race at Bearmouth, just sort of flying through Drummond and back out to Helmville, has said that he's not interested in doing that anymore. So there wouldn't be a state road race anymore. And so we started kind of as a team thinking about trying to put that on, and it just felt like, you know, the town of Drummond wasn't actually that engaged with it. And the juice seemed more worth the squeeze to kind of try to bring this back as maybe a stepping stone to a multi-stage stage race in Western Montana again. So we're hoping to do this on July 13th. And we met with the city council in Phillipsburg 2 weeks ago and the mayor, and they seem on board. Scott Lyons and I have kind of walked around town, looked at staging areas, start finish areas, and I think we have the manpower and the money to do it. We already have $5,000 that have been donated for prize money, and we've applied for $1,000 grant through USA Cycling that would potentially provide free registration for like juniors and women.
Go ahead, and like on where you go out of the city and go out in the county, you'll have to have the insurance and that. Okay, so
Yep.
You have all the insurance, and if you talk to him.
Haven't talked to, no, I wanted to get permission from the mayor and the county commissioners first. We'll have insurance through USA Cycling. Yeah.
I don't.
I have a couple of questions. Where's your staging areas in town?
At least right now, well, so start and finish would be on Broadway, and then we would be neutral out on the over towards the city park.
Okay.
And
on Broadway up in town here, or?
We can starting doesn't really matter. We can start wherever. We can even start at the city park, but the finish, the city council and the mayor wanted it in town, and so ideally we're gonna finish like right in town on Broadway there.
Okay. Just from my perspective, there's, with all due respect to the mayor, because he's here, that there's just a lot of congestion down there already. That's why I was asking on Broadway. I don't, if they want to agree to that, that's fine, but I can see that being an issue with July traffic in Phillipsburg.
Yeah.
In my opinion. The other concern I have is, I remember the frontage road bike races, and we had problems with the cyclists not following state law as far as riding to the right-hand side of the roadway as possible. And we had calls for service constantly when they were doing those down there. So if the commissioners approve this, I would request that you guys have a safety meeting before the race or whatever, and encourage everybody to ride on the right-hand side of the roadway, not 2 or 3 abreast, because if I start getting calls on that, I'll come into a meeting and I think it's a good thing for the town and the area to bring this race here. With that said, I don't want the problems that come with what we were having down there. Because I can't remember how many calls we got, but it was quite a few. And I just don't want to see somebody get hurt. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess ideally we would like to hire some, Sean tried to kind of run that sort of under the radar. My goal with this is that it would be too large to run under the radar, and we would need to probably hire some off-duty deputies to help us.
That might be a tough time of year. I might be able to get a couple of reserves. Are you talking about for blocking traffic on Highway 1 or what?
I mean, we're gonna have enough volunteers to ideally have lead and follow cars for each field. There would be 4 fields probably. But having law enforcement there, especially when we're interacting with the highway specifically, I mean, with the prize money we're putting up, I mean, it's conceivable that I could have a Pro 1 field that would be 75 or 100 dudes. They're not gonna ride single file. And especially with the rumble strips on the highway, you just can't run a race like that.
And did you get that approved from DOT already? The state highway?
No, I mean, I can go and ask.
What do you mean they're not? That's state law. So they would have to close the highway in order to do that if they're gonna ride both lanes, you talking, or?
No, not both lanes. I'm saying just in the right lane.
But be out into the lane.
Yeah.
You're saying.
Yeah. I mean, we're only gonna be on the highway.
So you're telling me they're not gonna follow state law in this race?
Well, I guess from what I get, you're obviously more of an expert on state law than I am, but my understanding of it is, as long as you're not obstructing traffic, and frankly, in a race, it's very difficult to not obstruct traffic. I mean, when they used to run up to Georgetown Lake, they would have a rolling enclosure. So
If you're obstructing and impeding the flow of traffic, you are violating state law the way I interpret that on bicycles. I just don't, we're a full service sheriff's office too, and I don't want to see somebody get hit by a car.
no, I don't.
So I'm all for bringing it to the area. I think it's a good thing for the community and
Yeah.
everybody that comes to the area and the motels and everybody else.
Yeah.
The problems I seen on that race, I started to get a little bit irritated with.
Hey, Scott has a comment. And it's not that we're against that. The other thing, you wanna make sure and get a hold, remember, this is volunteer ambulance here.
Yeah.
So you need to talk to them and tell them too what's going on, so
Yeah.
it's something that they could hang around and figure something,
Yeah.
just in case there's a. Well, back, like I said, on, down on the frontage road, that was the biggest mess I've ever seen. In fact, I damn near hit head on because they wouldn't get over and about ran into a truck. And I got in trouble because I yelled. So see, that stuff's always got to be figured out before this gets, and I understand where he's going.
You know, you did say you would have cars in front and back of these folks, right? So there may be some exemption in the
Yeah.
statute for that.
We should look at that.
But
With,
like I say, when people they get busy on these devices and everything else, and
Yeah, no, I mean, my number one concern is safety, but I guess, I've been racing bikes for 20 years and all over the country. And the yellow line rule is almost always in effect, like you need to be on the right side of the road. But I've never done a race where law enforcement has said you need to ride single file. But I won't be able to make people do that.
that's just.
one of the things you can do is say, sheriff makes a good point on having, Department of Transportation approve it as well, so.
Well,
You
it's on
guys
state
do,
highway.
yeah, I mean, if you're doing a motion, it'd be conditional upon state highway, approving
Like I
it.
say, I'm not against it.
No,
I'm actually for it. I just want, I don't want.
I'm just, I read.
Yeah, it's state highway.
I'm happy to talk to whoever, my goal is to, one, run a safe race, two, ruffle as few feathers as possible, and three, try to bring this thing back and bring as much traffic to the area. But, this is my first time doing this. I mean, I've run races before in New Hampshire, but not here. So I don't know who I mean, we went to the city council and the mayor, and then they said, come talk to you guys. I can go talk to DOT. That's fine. It's just, this is 3 months away. So ideally we would like to go live with registration like in the next week or so. I can talk to DOT and.
I can give you the section manager for DOT.
Yeah.
his number.
You have people stretched out probably for how many miles, you think? I mean,
The vehicles are just gonna follow like the main pack. If somebody is out of the pack, then the instruction is always ride as far to the right as you can,
Okay.
because as far as we're concerned, at that point,
okay,
at that point, you're on your own,
I get it.
that potentially takes care of it if you're, if they're.
But there's no question in my mind that, if you're a resident or a tourist and you're driving the highway for that brief section before we're, getting onto Rock Creek or you turn off to Georgetown Lake, yeah, it's gonna be annoying for a minute. But
I think what the town's thinking is gonna bring in people, and that's probably why they want it downtown, and want people to go to the businesses, right? And
If I might, Mayor Reddish here, yeah, we dealt obviously specifically with town, with Broadway. And then essentially, we were like, now you need to go and talk to the county and DOT or whomever, and get back, have a solidified plan. And so, that's why I'm here to be supportive in the fact that with respect to town's jurisdiction, we understand Broadway is kind of clogged, but we're also like, yeah, okay, we could probably work this out as long as as long as there is a presentation of safety and all of the requisite people are involved at the intersections and all these things we've done with in the past with the coning and all that kind of stuff. And I think for us, we get the traffic in town, but it's a very limited space in town in terms of like how much they're gonna be spread out, but they will be coming into town over a period of time. We do understand that. I think logistically, probably out on the highway and wherever the race ends up going is probably what needs to be fleshed out, for sure. And also, we don't, all we have to offer is the town, right? Beyond that, we don't have a lot of supportive activity in this, and I think that was made clear at our meeting. So talk to the county, talk to the DOT, whoever you need to talk to, get back to us with some kind of solidified plan, basically. That's kind of where we left it. So that's why the doctor's here today talking to you folks.
Well, I agree with you, we have to have something that we can sign and that proof of everything. I know you wanna get it out in a week, but it's, you know, I mean, it can't just come in and expect all of a sudden we just, yeah, let's do it. Until we have everything in order.
You're looking for more of a, like,
Just like you say.
Is there a motion?
Proposal you talking?
Well, just so that we know what's involved, you know, with insurance, DOT's on board.
I think that could be your motion, that, conditional approval upon insurance, customary insurance being in place, DOT permitting being in place.
That's all.
And it's, there is a proposal if you want something more formal than that, but on the route or whatever.
Yeah.
but-
That's important, you need a route.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any public comment?
I do have another question if I might. Let me get this, I want to be clear on this. You would start at the park and end downtown?
well, what Scott and I had talked about was starting in town. But if it's easier and less disruptive to the town, or for just logistical purposes, we can easily just roll out from the city park and head out from
Okay,
there.
I guess I'm asking that question specifically for town, but also generally. Whether you start and finish in town, set that aside for a second, when you leave town, say you start in town and you leave town, where are you going?
We're going out past the city park, neutral there, left on the highway. And then we head down towards Scalco, right on Rock Creek Road, right on 348,
Yeah.
and then
Going that way or this way?
going,
It's a loop.
going clockwise.
Okay,
clockwise.
you're gonna go down the scale and come around and come out.
Not this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you guys haven't done a race there. Somebody has done that before. I don't remember who it was, but that loop.
yeah, that was years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that was Jeff Crouch and Eric
I think-
Higby and
If I recall correctly, I don't think we had too much of a problem back then. A little bit different back then, but it was the frontage road when we had problems. But
well, that's Sean.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I told you he was
Okay,
trying
we're
to
getting
fly
a
under the
little
radar
chit-chatty
as much
here.
as he could. So,
Wayne,
No
One,
yeah.
one comment too is
Okay.
Rock Creek Road is not gonna, I mean, there's gonna be potholes and everything else. I'm not sure if you have
Well, so
notice to them of the issues there.
well, so sorry again.
It's a good road.
No, I know that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so there was one year, I think it was like 2002 or something, that the road was graded like the week before the race, and it was kind of a total catastrophe because there were like 40 flats in the first, mile. Road bikes now are a fair bit different. They have tubeless tires and they run larger tires, and I'm not as concerned about it, but my hope, I mean, my plan after this meeting was to talk to DOT anyway, or whoever is in charge of that road, because ideally we get it graded, you guys, okay. We need to, the best thing would be if it was graded like as soon as possible and not touched again.
That's pretty tough to ask.
Yeah,
I mean, we got not just that road to take care of, we got a bunch of roads, and I mean, we can't all of a sudden, just because of this bike race, we'll drop everything else.
I guess what I mean by that, I was just describing the best case scenario. I'm saying the sooner, the less it's touched in the weeks leading up to the race.
Isn't the plan to do that here soon? Or was it?
It's already been graded.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, Gary, great.
Okay, I have another public comment here. Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Lane Gagliano for the record. I just want to point out that there's two entities involved. And there's going to be two entities that are going to be accountable. The town of Phillipsburg, part of it is in the town, and the other part is in the county. And that would be under the sheriff. So I think you need more agreements between the two, who's going to do what and who's going to be responsible for the potholes, etc. In the town of Phillipsburg or in the county, on the county roads. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena.
Bless you.
Well, that's why they have insurance, if someone can, yeah, I mean, but they're really, when you do that kind of race, there's not assumption in the risk in Montana, but a jury is gonna say, you guys, so liability is the main concern, don't approve it, but he has insurance and, it's reasonable, I mean, they do.
I mean, the participants, they sign a waiver. We have event insurance. When they sign up through USA Cycling, they're even offered like personal injury insurance as like a.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried and passed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. It is 1 p.m. and projected adjournment. We are adjourned for Tuesday, April 16th.
Yeah,